Welcome back to episode 10 of Quarantine Cast. I'm Joshua Hanlon, joined once again by Bricks O'Brien, and today our guest is Guy Himber, talking about his latest Lego Kickstarter projects.
Howdy, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us for the 10th episode now. It's amazing how quickly these weeks have gone by while we've been at home here. Some great conversations, so we're happy to have Guy Himber on. He is a very long-time friend of Beyond the Brick, going all the way back to our early podcast days, I think even audio-only podcast days, before we were really on YouTube much at all.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so very impressive. It's been great to see you at conventions over the years and see your work online, Guy. Always fantastic stuff. And we're really looking forward to hearing about your latest Kickstarter project here. So why don't you just launch on into that? And you can maybe also give just a brief history of kind of what you've done with Kickstarter and Lego over the years, so people kind of are familiar with your background going into this.
Oh, okay. So way back when in the old days, as a frequent Brickcon attendee, they had themed up pigs versus cows was the theme, and we realized that there really wasn't a lot of pig or cow minifigures to work from. There was some Fabuland stuff, but that was about it. And I do a lot of industrial design, manufacture type stuff, background in creating things. And I approached Wayne at the convention and said, hey, would you mind if I actually did some custom cow and pig heads that we could use at the convention? And we came to an agreement, ended up doing a Kickstarter. We made pig and cow heads, which are like some of the first early pieces that my company Crazy Bricks did. And then from there, we just kind of continued and build and grew, and things have gotten more and more sophisticated and involved since then. And the latest Kickstarter comes out on June 16th, and that just got revealed yesterday for the first time publicly, and that's the one called Dino Dudes, which is part of what I'll share with you guys today.
Awesome. Yeah, and here's John sharing the graphic for it right there. So this is really cool. Definitely reminiscent of sort of like some of the costume collectible minifigures type of stuff that we've seen over the years. So is that sort of the idea you were going for with some of this?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of minifigure customs, and really my main focus has always been accessories. I tend not to do a lot of complete figures, just because, yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the backside to go out and harvest all of the minifigure parts and bits and pieces out from the secondary market. But sometimes the projects just call for that. So I really wanted to take it to the extremes for this one. And this dinosaur theme has kind of been something that's been bouncing around in my head for a while. The first little figure I drew just as I was sketching it out was actually the Pterodactyl. I did a really rough sketch of what that might be, what I imagined it would look like. And I knew, one thing I knew for sure on the Pterodactyls, I wanted to use the crazy arms to have them sort of outstretched in that flying pose.
Yeah.
And that's really the very first one. So here, I can actually show you. This is the prototype piece in a little created vignette environment. But that's the first dino dude I did there, was that Pterodactyl.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you've even created the kind of mountain spire scene there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't do that one. I had a very talented friend help me with that bit. And I think you're going to see a couple smaller vignettes. Instructions for those vignettes will be some social media stretch goals that we'll have for the project. So if we hit certain amounts of likes or things, I will make the build instructions for those vignettes available as a freebie to supporters as well. But yeah, as you see the figure, so as you see it here, it looks pretty complete, but that's actually a lie. This is actually a resin prototype off of the digital model. So after we get the sketches done, we go in and digitally sculpt everything. And from that data, we can grow stuff. And here, I'll see if I could give you a better look here. Yeah, and the tolerances on these are a little hit or miss, but if you look close there, I mean, this is pretty much what the final piece is going to look like. It'll be much shinier and a groovier finish, and the color match will be there. And then you can see how the wing setup pretty much pops on the top. And then you can see there's the pegs here for the crazy arms. So each one of these sets would come with a set of matching crazy arms to them as well.
And we should mention those crazy arms were another one of your really cool Kickstarter projects that you did. And those to me are just so awesome because it allows you to do so many different things with minifigures that aren't possible with the typical Lego arms.
Yeah, the crazy arms, that's just kind of been a momentum that just keeps growing and growing as more people discover them. Or you'll just have people say, hey, how did you do that pose with those arms? And my usual response is like heat gun. I'm really strong and I heated it up and moved it. Just accept that, like, okay. Yeah, once they see how they work and that connection point and stuff, it's kind of awesome. Yeah, I had an earlier version I had sold way back when I was machining them by hand, but the final ones are fantastic. And in those poses, there's well, we'll talk about crazy arms for a second. There's the main set, which is this one. So that gives you the straight arm and the bent arm.
Yeah.
And then the other really cool ones, which are much more subtle, are what are called the Javelin Arms. So I'm going to put in a Javelin Arm. So for those that don't know anything about crazy arms, they all have a pin system. So once you put the bracket inside, these little tiny, I just can't work backwards. These little tiny pins are what actually hold the arms in. So all I did for the one I just took off is I pulled the pin, popped him out, and now I'm going to replace him with the Javelin Arm, which is this guy. And Javelin arms are very subtle in what they do. So that is now a Javelin arm on the other side. And what Javelin arms do is they take the arm, they put a nut. I just can't think backwards, guys.
It's okay. There you go.
There you go. They put the arm at a 90-degree bend, unlike figure arms. And this is the important part, is they can't let's gotta come back this way. A minifigure arm, if you raise it up, will thunk a minifigure in the head. So if you're carrying like a spear, you can't. So what a Javelin arm does is it actually brings the arm out a few degrees to clear, and that's why it's called a Javelin arm, because it brings it up and out so you can clear it. So what that does for you is it kind of gives you like more of an action pose, puts things pointed out. A lot of like the military guys take that advantage of that little tiny difference to actually allow things to better grip weapons and stuff. And then how they actually work on the inside is this little bracket right there. So when you take off the arms and you look inside, those little holes are really the whole secret to crazy arms right there. So the bracket piece slides in that hole.
Yeah, there you go.
And now that little round part becomes your connection point when you put it all back together. And then that's where the arms go.
Now, are these available? I know you made these for a Kickstarter project. Can people still buy these today if they want them?
Yeah, they're always in stock on the web store. And I just did red versions and dark blue versions. A lot of people wanted those for, superhero stuff like Spider-Man, Flash, Captain America. So that's fairly new, the red and blue colors. And if people keep asking for them, I might do other colors in the future, but those are really the big ones right now.
What's the link for the web store? Make sure you give it a shout out and people can check it out. We'll also put a link in the description of the video.
Oh, sure. It's just crazybricks.com.
Perfect. Yeah. So you've got the crazy arms on there. What else is available if people are interested in some of the other projects you've done over the years?
Everything's on there. Let's see. The Victorians are on there. So these fun, cool guys, the little Victorian robots with the top hats.
Which are such a sweet idea, by the way. The giant top hats are one of my favorite things that you've made over the years.
Yeah. So there's the regular big top hats, which are like this size, which are, pretty big. And then recently I came out with what are called the excessively large top hats. I don't know if you've seen those, but they are really, truly excessively large. There's no reason to have them that big except to be excessive.
Yeah, if there's a top hat that big, you're making a statement.
Yeah, that's That's not for your amateur top hat.
No.
Got to be like next level stuff. And then also on there, the bricks of the mouse guard. Hey, there you go. They look like that. Did Brian do that? Who did that?
Oh no, I don't do any of this. This is all Tim. It's not me.
Producer John / Tim.
Who's even Tim John?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's just keep going. So these top hats are pretty cool. What variety of colors do you have here?
I think we're up to about 10 different colors now. Yeah, we keep adding more colors because the top hats run in a couple different mold sets just because I like them so much. I don't know if the community really needs that many top hats. I just I need that many top hats. Yeah. It's a problem. And I think that's the first step. Also, will be appearing, but not quite there yet. The last Kickstarter was an extension of Mouse Guard, which was another Kickstarter we did about 4 or 5 years ago. And the original sets of Mouse Guard have been sold out for quite a while, but a lot of people have asked about them. So I talked to David Peterson, who's the author illustrator of the books, and I said, hey, there's still a couple characters we haven't done yet, and a lot of people have been asking about the sets because I tend to do limited runs of figures. I'm not like a make them forever person, pretty much. And this seemed like a good source to continue and revisit it because I really was getting a lot of asks about them. So yeah, I'll show you here.
Is that a gingerbread man with a bazooka?
Of course.
Okay, I just want to clarify. I had a short night's sleep. I don't know if I was seeing things, but okay, cool.
Oh, okay. All right, so this is actually the Dino Dudes display, but it works really cool for the mice too. So I loaded them all up. But this is now all, there we go. This is now all 13 of the existing Mouse Guard figures now. So there's the original 7, and then there's 6 new ones that we just did for the last Kickstarter. And I can show you them a little closer.
And Mouse Guard, we should mention real quick for people who haven't heard of that, what you can maybe give a brief overview of what that is and kind of what you base these off of.
Sure. So Alice Finch is really the one responsible for the whole Mouse Guard thing starting in the Lego fan community. And Alice, was always on the lookout for big, broad, collaborative projects. She had met David Peterson, I think, at one of the big Comic-Con conventions up in Seattle. She became a fan of his work, and Mouse Guard is sort of his magnum opus, I think is the term, which is this, I guess, otherworldly place where mice and other animals all live together, and they're, like anthropomorphic creatures, so they're up on their feet like human types, and they talk and stuff. And the Mouse Guard are the mice responsible for the safety of all the different villages of all the various mice communities around in this world. And, their enemies are snakes and owls and crabs and weasels, and there's a lot of politicking and intrigue, and it's just fantastically drawn and written. Yeah, if you haven't discovered the books, I highly, highly recommend them.
Wasn't that going to be a movie at one point? I remember seeing like test footage, and then it never ended up coming to fruition, or am I imagining things?
No, that's true. I think Warner Brothers had the option for it, and they actually did a bunch of amazing stuff for it. And then for some reason, and who knows? I mean, having been in film world, a lot of wonderful projects get pulled for stupid reasons. So I'm sure some idiot in a suit somewhere did something, said something, and ruined what would have probably been an amazing project.
Yeah, I remember seeing the test footage, and I was very impressed by like the environments and the type of world, because there were like mice riding on tortoises and exploring giant forest, or normal sized forest, but for them giant. It was a very interesting idea that could have definitely went somewhere. I didn't know this was even a thing that the community ran with and elaborated on. I just knew it as that test footage that never went anywhere. So this is incredible.
Yeah, so this is the project we did them for. So when Alice decided to do this as a collaborative project, we had a discussion that like, hey, we need mice, we need weapons, we need this and that. So we set up a thing to do a Kickstarter for it, and that created the first run of Mouse Guard heads, weapons, etc. And then we decided, hey, why don't we go ahead and do like some specific characters from the book, and then that resulted in like the first minifigure run of them, which is all principal characters from the first set.
Yeah, and this build was amazing. This was at Brickcon. I forget how many years ago exactly this was now, but it was a massive, collaborative layout with all of these different characters and the architecture too. You look at the wide variety of buildings and houses they had on display.
And this, what you're showing here, I want to say is maybe 1/5 of the entire display. They did an entire castle. There was all these outdoor environments, like a waterfront community, like a hillside thing, and there was a duck and a giant owl being attacked. I mean, this is amazing, and literally 1/5 of all the crazy cool stuff they did for it. Yeah, if you dig around on it, they did a book about it called like Art of the Mouse of the Brick Guards. Oh, here, okay, there you in that angle you get to see further as it goes farther down. Just great stuff. And again, the books themselves, pretty much any age would dig those books because they're just amazing. And David, the author, one of the nicest folks you'll ever meet. He and his wife Julia too. They're just really straight, super folks and very dedicated, I think, to the fan community and the preservation of this whole mouse guard concept. Just really neat.
So you've been able to do 2 series then now of those mouse guards minifigures.
Yeah, I'll show you. So there's 6 new ones. I actually have a few in the package, and these, no one has these yet except for me because they haven't shipped yet. The fulfillment on these will probably start next week. But this is one of the main protagonist characters from the first series. He's a mouse called Midnight, and this black axe has a significance throughout all the books. It's kind of like their big symbol of, I guess it would be sort of like free spirit, independence, almost like this Batman character, you could almost say, in the mouse guard world is represented by this black axe. And this is like the bad guy. He attempts to sort of have a coup over the main mouse guard characters. And then his rebels, we'll call them. Oh, and this is the packaging you can see for the new series. See, it features, here's one that's not okay. It features the black axe on it. So the first series I did has different artwork on it. It shows the 3 main mouse folks. So the second run would have this as a different package piece. So he's got a whole army called the Axe Army, and they also have this unique armor pattern that's all pad printed. They have the shoulder armor, and then they have these full head armor pieces that go all the way around on the heads. And the neat thing too is they have these ridiculously long pikes. So in the book, when you see them, and I don't know, maybe a bit of an artistic choice, they show them with these really large spears or pikes, and I kind of liked it. They're ridiculously long, and I think, back in the Roman legionnaire times, they actually did use giant spears this long. So the guys over at Brick Warriors, actually, I remember they had produced some of these, and I said, hey, do you guys have a couple hundred of these we can work out a deal on? So these are an item you can get from Brick Warriors in assorted colors, but they just matched up perfect with it. So it seems really long, but this is how they are in the book. Then there is a main character called Liam from the first book, and it's only for a few pages, but he actually disguises himself as one of the Axe Army guys. So this is the exclusive figure from the Kickstarter. This one's not really ever going to be for general sale, but he's Liam as an Axe Army guy. You can tell where the costume, the disguise sort of fails. Kind of a fur color issue. I can figure out which one's the wrong guy. Can you guys?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Slight color variation.
Which one's the real guy? I don't know. I can't tell. Who's faking me out here? And then there's another character who's just referenced in one of the expansion stories, and it's actually a ghost. So this figure is called the Ghost of Kala, and it uses a Lego lower body piece.
Ooh.
And this is a glow-in-the-dark head. And there was an option to get a glow-in-the-dark sword. Some folks have it. And this is the only one in the series that doesn't have a white fur chest. There's like this kind of ghostly green chest on it. I don't even think I need to do it because you don't see it because of the cape, but I just thought it would be really neat to have it on there.
That is super neat. And what's the bottom half from?
So this is Lego makes this one. This is like that ghost bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a couple collectible minifigures that use that piece, and I was able to get a decent inventory of a bunch of them for this set. Okay. Then these next two, and the last two, which are the new ones, these are probably the most elaborate ones in the series and have the most cool parts. So one of them is named Bastion, one of them is named Delvin. This guy might be my favorite one. So he comes with a set of crazy arms. Obviously, he's known for having a bow, so he comes with that whole setup. And then, I don't know how well you can see it here. So we actually printed a scar pattern over his eye.
For sure, yeah.
And if you look closely at his ear, it's kind of chewed up.
Mm-hmm.
That's like battle damage. So every ear for this character gets individually punched to create that damage on his ear.
Yeah, I was going to ask you in terms of these mice figurines, like what's the printing process like for that as opposed to, people make custom Lego minifigures on official parts all the time, but for something like this that's a custom mold, how is that process different from something like that?
Sure. So my parts are all injection molded plastic. So it's the same technique you use, at Lego proper. So there's a metal, be it aluminum or steel, that gets cut out. Liquid ABS plastic is injected in there at high pressure. That hardens, and then that's an injection molded plastic part. It uses ABS, which is acetyl acetate. I don't remember what ABS stands for exactly, but it's styrene. That's what the S is for. And then once your parts come out, to print on parts, really the two big schools are, well, really there's three technically, but you have pad printing, which is what most of your Lego stuff is. So imagine like a rubber stamp that goes over to a little well of ink. It touches down on it. It comes over to the blank part, gives it a little kiss, and that ink is deposited down. That's called pad printing. There's what's called digital or UV printing, which is kind of like your desktop laser printer. So what that's doing is it's literally printing with a kind of a form of uncured plastic material. And then UV stands for ultraviolet, which is what you get from sunlight. So that ultraviolet light, which will look usually typically blue, comes along, creates a chemical reaction with that material, and that cures it, basically turning it into a solid plastic material. And then the other one would be, which is a lot of the mouse guard heads have this. They have a combination of pad printing and what would be like a more traditional toy technique, which would be masking. So here on the chest, it's a pretty flat surface. This is a great candidate for pad printing, like give it a kiss, it's done. But then when you see on the head, there's this really elaborate concave thing. To try to make that as a pad printing thing just wouldn't happen. So they'll create a mask that covers the parts they don't want to have printed, and then it'll actually almost get spray painted like a car.
Interesting.
And then those, the inks or the paint they use are volatile for a short time. When it hits the plastic, that makes it attack the plastic and stick. And that all happens in flashes really quick. And that's, your more traditional toy production type of painting technique.
And you notice between the two methods of doing it, there's a consistency between the quality of prints, regardless of what method you're using?
Yeah, I mean, if pad printing is a bit of an art, one of your best people in that is going to be, you guys, I'm sure you've had Joe from Citizen Brick on. Has he ever been on?
Not on the stream, but yeah, definitely have seen his stuff at
Oh,
shows.
okay. Yeah, you should get Joe on. Joe's a hoot to talk to. He's fun. Joe's probably the best artist, pad printer business there is. Yeah, you see some of the stuff that he's done. He's done things at a level and a fineness that just nobody else will get near. But you know, Joe's your top tier alpha in pad printing world. He's really an artist first who's taken pad printing as his medium to work with, and just super creative and amazing. And there's a cleanness to that style that's very reminiscent of Lego stuff. So I'm a fan of that one, but it's a more expensive setup, and every color you do has to have another pad set up specifically to that color. The advantage of the ultraviolet printing is, you know, as long as you just make a few clicks in your Illustrator file, you can just print any color. You can do one color, you can do 1,000 colors. It's literally just like your laser printer at home kind of level of stuff. But even with that, there's people that do that mediocre, okay, and then there's people that truly understand that whole printing process and do tight stuff. And then the masked stuff, that's really more like high level production. There's no one, I think, at the, you know, non-factory level that's doing any sort of like paint masks or anything like that. That's kind of factory level stuff. Let's see. Oh, last one. Last one is this character who's got some really cool details on him. And this character is called Delvin. And he's the only one in the new series that has like a fur cape. Granted, this one probably needs to get trimmed down a little bit. But he's got this really cool fur cape. And then he's got a custom pad printed shield. And his cool weapon as well. It looks like my finger. Oh, there we go. Can't get it. There we go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, these turn out good. So really, as much as I love the first series, and they are still fantastic, they hold up great. The second series, really, I kind of pushed it a lot more. There's way more. I mean, the first series, there was a couple where it was like, it's a neat color. You get a cape and you get a sword. These are just out of control. So this one, you get a sword, you get a cape with fur on it, and you get a shield with custom printing on it. You know, it's a little ridiculous, but that's really what it took to capture that character correctly.
And so when you're making those capes at a higher quantity at a scale, what does it take, you know, resource wise? Are you like cutting those out specifically for each of them? Is there a machine that does that, or what's that process like?
So I don't produce capes. I have the wonderful guys over at Cape Madness are my cape suppliers. So Dave over there, I'll work with him on designs. We'll bounce things back and forth. We'll tighten a little, shrink a little, adjust. And once they're done, he's got a whole system over there where he can print and laser cut the material. And he's got kind of a secret process for treating the fabric. So there's kind of a stiffness to like Lego style fabric, and
right.
You know, Dave has it as well. And that's, I don't know if it's like a starch or what kind of additives they put in, but that stiffness, besides making it more resilient, also prevents it from fraying.
Right.
And then usually if you're mass producing them, you're either doing it with what's called a die, which is imagine a big metal cookie cutter that's super sharp that stamps it out of the fabric, or you know, if you have a really cool setup, you're doing laser cutting where you might stack them 20, 30 high, and then the laser traces out your pattern and, you know, super heat cuts through that material. That's kind of how you do a mass production. So a mouse guard, for example, a ridiculous number of capes we did, because it's 13 characters times however many each one ran. So it's probably one of Dave's biggest orders for the year already, I'm sure, because it was an enormous number of capes he did for me.
Yeah, Cape Madness has some really impressive stuff they've done over the years, the variety of products that they've made.
Here, I'm just putting some of these back. So that's the mouse guard stuff. And before we go on more on Dino Dudes, the project we did just before Mouse Guard actually wrapped last year, and was kind of getting ready to deliver toward the end of last year. And then I started just getting from some of my manufacturers and suppliers like some weirdness, and that was right at the beginning of the COVID kind of coming along and sneaking up on us. So in hindsight, a lot of the delays that I experienced in getting stuff, now I know why there were delays from it getting to me. Well, now we all know why there were delays. But that finally all came through, and that one just delivered about a month and a half ago, later than I like, but the pieces were pretty awesome. I got a few of them here to show you. This one may be my favorite one from the series. This one's called the Octo Brick.
Ooh.
This is actually a Duplo scale. Because sometimes, and this is even larger.
Wow.
I did a big one, but the real scale of them at Lego scale is here. So that's a 2x2. So that's the part itself. Connects on the bottom, connects on the top, and then it just takes a 2x2 brick, clicks in. Here, pressure's on. There we go. And then you have this awesome little Cthulhu HP Lovecraft Octo Brick. Yeah, those are fun ones. And, you know, just all kinds of different color combos and things. Then that mold also has one of the excessively large top hats in it. So you can see this guy. It's got these fantastic little mugs in it. So I had done some mugs and steins for Mouse Guard. These are ones, this one has a picture of a dragon on it. This one has a picture of a gear. It's kind of steampunk. And one of the adjustments I made on it, which I should have done with Mouse Guard, is these can actually rotate around completely. It's got enough clearance for that. The Mouse Guard ones, really you could only click head on, and you couldn't really rotate them.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And this was another reason that stalled out the project. When I realized I wanted to do that, anytime you make a major modification in something like that, once it's already been set to mold, you know, it could be a month or more of a setback. And it's a subtle thing, but I felt it was worth it to make that happen because it's way more posable with that in place.
And this color is crazy as well. So how do you define what color that is there?
This one's called Sparkly Pink. Yeah, we're a fan of that. Then also in that set, amongst the other cool things, there was another version of the Chibi Thulu, which is actually I should show you these in a different color. Let's try this copper one, which is the little horrible Cthulhu, like world-ending entity that's like thousands of feet tall. This is like the little cute happy version of him. And we had done one before that was just hands on his hips, and this is like the happy waving one. And this was another piece from that set. So this is called, so you know the term pike?
Yeah.
So it's like a weapon, and then there's also the fish that's a pike. So this is kind of a play on words that Munchkin likes to do. So this is basically a pike, a pike on a pike. Now, did we really need this? Me and the 7 people that find this very funny, yes, we did need it. No one else gets the joke, that's up to you. But for me and my 7 pals, this was a very important part that we were missing in the Lego community.
There, it's the essential things like that you provide for the community.
Exactly. Joshua, I like where you're going with that, bud. Then also in this set that's kind of cool is the foam finger.
Has Lego made a foam finger piece? I feel like they have.
So there was an actual foam hand that was done, I think, as one of the maybe hockey sets, perhaps. But I think it was a large foam hand for practical reasons because it used a goalie figure or to block things. But it's like scaled to minifigures. I don't believe that's ever been.
Wow. you figured that would have been made by now, but that is a perfect accessory for a minifigure to hold. That's
The whole thing. And this one actually, they don't hold it. This one, you pull out the hand and it just slides in. So we'll use the Hulk here to demonstrate. Yeah, so it just goes in.
That's perfect. Wow.
You got your, so you can do Beyond the Bricks is #1. Whatever you want to do.
There you go. Of course. Yeah.
Let's see what else. I showed you guys the mugs. Oh, this is another fun one too. This is it's like a classic speedster helmet. It's pretty much old school Flash helmet.
With the little wings on it.
Yeah. So there's the CMF one they did that has these big, horrible, clunky wings on it. As soon as I saw that, I took an immediate dislike to it. So I knew I wanted to do something that was more proportionate. So it kind of looks like the wings are floating because they're very light and stuff, but really what it is, it's a cheat in the paint job. So if you look at it from the top, it's just not painted where it extends out. So it's sort of a visual cheat that makes you look like you have these nice, tiny little wings. But it's all smoke and mirrors and lies, much like you, Virtual Josh.
You know it, Guy.
I think we covered all that. So yeah, all those come in the, and also we forgot the giant hammer. That was the other piece. So in Munchkin, there's a character named Spike, and he has this signature giant hammer, and that's this excessively large giant hammer. I mean, it's huge. It's like a giant thunking thing.
It goes well with the excessive top hat.
Good point. All right, let's swap that.
Oh, yeah, you got to swap it out.
Yeah. There we go.
Much better.
It's a super mega hammer, basically. And the handle piece is a separate one, too. So the handles, I had another mold set for another project, and I was thinking, I want some handles just to run on my own. So this is a 19 millimeter long handle in that exacting Lego 3.18 millimeter handle size. And I've used it for a couple different projects now. I've used it as like a cane, obviously a handle here. It's just one of those basic boring pieces that you'll just use forever kind of thing. So those are the last two. Dino Dudes is the big one running right now. And that'll start on the 16th. So I already showed you guys the Pterodactyl. He's one of the stretch goal guys. So Dino Dudes being a very elaborate mold set, there's going to be just the initial funding goal, which will cover the first three dinosaurs, which is the Brachiosaurus. Oh, we should cover something there too. In my world, we call them brontosauruses. That's what I was told as a kid. It's like, there's planets we had when I was a kid that aren't planets anymore. Brontosaurus is a dinosaur that was stolen from us.
Are you trying to change that?
I wish I could say Brontosaurus, but I would catch a lot of crap from your archaeological buddies. So technically, the one with the long neck here is a Brachiosaurus. But you and I know Brontosaurus.
There you go.
Okay.
People in the know what's going on, guys.
No. So Brachiosaurus, the Stegosaurus, which is the kind of Godzilla-like dinosaur with the big fins on the back, and the T-Rex, those will be the three that are part of the initial set. And then the Pterodactyl and the Triceratops will be the stretch goals. So this is going to be a different way to do stuff. Usually I'm just selling accessories typically, or I'm just selling minifigures. This one I'm going to allow both. So you'll have options to just get an accessory set, which would be all in the same color. You would just get all the parts for the dinosaurs in the set. You provide your own minifigures. Then there will also be a minifigure option wherein you could get completely realized minifigures with prints on torsos and stuff like that. And what I did with Mouse Guard that people seem to like is you can just pledge in at a level where maybe you're just committing to get one figure, and you'd get that probably at whatever the retail pricing would be. Or if you pledge in for more figures, the more figures you pledge in for, the lower your cost per figure is. So if you pledge at the $20 level, you can get one $20 figure. And then at the close of the campaign, you can get as many figures as you want at that $20 mark that you pledged at. If you did 3 or more, you get them at 19 a piece. If you do 5 or more, you can get them at 18 a piece, which is, savings off the retail at 20. Then the accessory pack probably is going to be a pretty tremendous deal too, in that you're definitely going to get the 3 dinosaurs for the entry price. And if we hit the 2 stretch goals, you're also going to get the other 2 dinosaurs and the crazy arms thrown in for that same price. So really, stretch goals is what we're going to be chasing on this. I want to be able to be ridiculously generous with everybody that pledges to the campaign, and I like to throw in a lot of extra stuff for people, that believe in me and the company to let us do stuff.
And you've always done a great job with that with your Kickstarter projects, like the various stretch goals, and just really throwing in some really cool and impressive perks for people if they're willing to kind of throw their support behind the project.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I mean, at some point, any Kickstarter project, it's going to show up as a retail possibility later. So, a lot of people fairly are probably like, hey, why do I want to throw money at this now? I'll just wait a couple months and I can just buy it from the store, which is a very valid point of view. So I need to make it reasonable for them. I need them to say like, oh, okay, if I buy this now and commit to it, not only am I going to get it cheaper than, the regular retail price, I'm going to get a boatload of extra goodies. That seems like a reasonable ask of people. Like, I will reward you. In fact, I have a big bucket here. I just put together all the freebie packs for the mouse guard shipment. And, I filled this entire big bucket with little baggies full of goodies for folks. I can't show you the secret part in that one yet. Nobody knows that one, but there is a secret piece in there. I can show you guys off air that everyone's going to get, but it'll be a surprise for them when they see it.
Yeah, I think between what you've done before, you've built up a good repertoire. So I think people would trust you a little more with, whatever you have in store. Your word is good. A lot of Kickstarter projects that are new on the scene and people who aren't as known, it's a little more dicey. But yeah, I'd say you're good.
Well, thank you, Brian. Yeah, I think that's really your currency on Kickstarter ultimately is
street cred.
Yeah, do you have a proven ability to deliver what you promise to deliver? And if something seems too good to be true, can you really deliver on something that seems too good to be true? And that's kind of what I try to do. Yeah, any project that does well, I really want to be over the top in how I reward people, because they had that trust in the company and in me to do that for them.
And we got a question in chat. Yeah, here, I want to make sure we remind people. So when does the Dino Dudes go live on Kickstarter for people who want to back that?
Well, hello, Grant Hall. He's young. Look at him. He's like, is he 4?
Hey, kids these days, man, they're getting the iPads, the computers, the phones, and they just get in the live streams.
He's so tiny. All right, we'll use small words because he's a baby. Hello, Grantykins. Come here, Grant. We got to wave stuff. Grant, look at me, buddy. Okay. June 16th, here, buddy. June 16th is when that will launch. So we are currently, you can go to Kickstarter. It's part of the beta program and actually get a reminder to the site. So if you go and look on the site, you can click the button. It'll say remind me when it launches, and you don't really have to do any more work past that. As long as you have a Kickstarter account, the day it launches, boosh, you'll go ahead and know that it's gone on. I think I'm also going to do on this one some day one rewards. So people that pledge on that first day, I want to do something special for them as a reward for that. Right now, I'm thinking it's going to be surprise. It could be a top hat, but I want to do a top hat that says either Dino Dudes on the front, I'll print it on there, or it may say I love Nessie. That might be what the top hat says. But that'll just be a day one reward. So if you pledge on that first day, besides whatever other goodies get unlocked as part of the campaign, you would also get the special hat.
And you can see in that shot John was just sharing, there's that little button there. Yeah. So if people want to get an alert, you can just click on that. And then when it goes live, you can make sure, you get that reminder and you don't forget about the project. But that is June 16th. So yeah, if people want to check this out, you can get some fantastic custom minifigures there, high quality stuff. So it's always great to get the products that you create over the years, Guy, because it's always really neat stuff.
Oh, awesome. All right, here, I'll let me show you the rest of the dinosaurs. Okay, so this is another cool vignette. So here's the T-Rex and the Triceratops. They don't come with the boxing gloves, but this is prehistoric boxing ring, man. It's like UFC for Jurassic creatures.
Another thing that the community desperately needed that you're providing.
Exactly. Thank you, Joshua. Here's the Brontosaurus. Here's the Brachiosaurus.
Oh, he's tall.
Yeah, he's got some neat things going on with him too, in that, let's pop him off of here. So as you come up with ideas, like I said, things kind of develop. So the four-legged bracket, this was an earlier prototype of it. And I may still do this kind of version of a squared off one, but this basically lets you take any minifigure and turn it into a four-legged minifigure. And this was
a neat idea, yeah.
Kind of an early design. So this will show up somewhere eventually in something. I have a cleaner, refined version of it. But one thing that was a problem was it was kind of squared off in the butt region here. And there's a flow to the Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus, that was kind of being corrupted by this. So one of my design guys I was chatting with had this idea of taking the back legs and actually canting them forward a few degrees. And that's how you arrive at this. So that cool line in the back, see how those legs mount in?
Yeah, and more of an angle than the giraffe one.
Yeah, it's subtle, but it makes a world of difference in the shape in the back of it. So this is that kind of industrial design idea where your first is your worst, and you got to get those ideas out. And you don't want to limit yourself to one brain. So if you have some other good, oh, Mr. Hinkle draws. Thank you, Mr. Hinkle. Is that you want to put it before some other people's eyes that have just a good eye for design. And my brain is pretty good, but it's just the one I have. So you get 2, 3, 4, 5 more brains working with you. That collective tends to always help you find cool creative solutions that you might not find on your own. So that's the Brachiosaurus. And then the last one in the group is the Stegosaurus, where you can see him here in his cool vignette.
Those nice like green leaf pieces sticking up.
Yeah. Again, these small vignettes, definitely going to be stretch goals to get instructions for those for folks, because they turned out pretty cool. Definitely like them. What other goodies did I bring to show you guys? Oh, and this is a neat one. I started this on Bricks of the Mouse Guard. This is a new resin color. It's a glow-in-the-dark blue. And actually, a few lucky folks have the Munchkin Brick set in this. That was my test piece for it. But this is a super beautiful, glowy, glow-in-the-dark with this blue tone.
It looks fantastic. Yeah, that color of blue.
Yeah, had Brick World happen this year when we did, what is it, Brick World After Dark or whatever?
Right, with the lights off.
These would have been, or a form of these would have been everywhere. Yeah, because it just pops. Yeah, if you look around on like the Crazy Bricks Facebook page, I think I have a couple test shots of that glow-in-the-dark blue, and that might be my new favorite resin to play with right now. It's costs extra to use it because it's a more expensive material, but I think the results are totally worth it.
Are you trying to always experiment with sort of colors and resins like that in different products, trying to get outside of maybe what like a Lego official products show?
Yeah, it's a weird place because there's some stuff Lego does for very practical reasons, like they will use certain materials just because they have to be, safer, stronger, so they might not have the option to explore other things. Or like in this case, that resin, now makes those bricks cost 20-30% more, and they probably can't really justify that in their pricing model very well. Whereas since my stuff is more like boutique small run things, I can offer that up in a way that makes sense. In fact, the Dino, and this is part of what we're figuring out on the pricing tiers, assuming that we unlock a couple other colors of minifigs, because again, this will have custom printing, we're still figuring out. When you're buying figure blanks in the open market, some colors are available, but just at like a premium. So, maybe red torsos, white torsos, black torsos, we can get those all day long at a reasonable price. But some colors, oh, here, I'll be quiet if this is on. So, I guess we don't hear music on this. Okay, so
your director's commentary.
Okay. So one of the amazing parts of this project, and a new thing for me, is I know a couple of the world's best toy photographers. These are people that just specialize in photography, and their subject of choice are toys and very small things like that. So the pictures you're seeing here, please, let's be very clear, I am not the very talented photographer who took all these pictures. These were taken by 5 different toy photographers around the world. And if you go to the Instagram page or the Facebook page, you will see the names and links to get to all these amazing photographers. Let's see if I can get their names without trying too hard. So there's Astrid in Germany, Marco in Italy, David in South Africa, and Shelley and Alan here in the States. Very discreetly, I sent them all partial sets of prototypes. So usually I'll just do one set for me, just for preliminary, pictures and showing off and stuff. This, I decided to try something different. And I was able to enlist these guys. They were very kind to let me enlist them and send them these prototypes early. And they've been having fun with them, taking pictures of all of them way before this releases. So they're slowly going to be leaking out the various pictures they've taken between now and actually during the actual campaign. And the pictures are amazing.
They do look incredible. Yeah, just looking at this video here with these different photos, everything about those, you can tell, yeah, some real talent behind these photographs here.
Oh yeah, and this is just scratching the surface. There's some pictures they took that are just so funny and mind-blowing and creative, and I don't want to ruin it. I want them to have the fun of, releasing it out to the public first before I get to show it off. So this is just some of my favorite ones for the promo video, but there's so many more amazing pictures than what you're seeing here right now.
So there's a question from Isaac in the chat. What made you want to make the Lego Dino people? What was kind of the inspiration behind this particular project?
I think it really all started with this idea of the pterodactyl. I wanted to have like a flying minifigure, and like most people, I've always been a fan of dinosaurs, and I just thought, dinosaurs are just a good broad appeal. Creatively, they're just open to tons of possibilities. I mean, if this one does really well, I already know the next 5 dinosaurs that I would do after this one, without a doubt. I would love to expand upon it and do an even bigger, broader zoo, if you will, of dinosaur minifigures. And they're just on my wish list for quite a while. So as I said, I did that first sketch of the pterodactyl, and it all kind of led from there, kind of expanded out.
Sure. Yeah. And it's great to see kind of how you can run with these ideas. Like you said, you get your crazy arms, some of the other projects you've done, and kind of combine them all up for a fantastic product here.
Oh, thanks, guys. Well, let's talk about you in these COVID times. So this is your 10th stay-at-home version?
I don't believe that it is. Like you said, this is episode number 10, and I'm like, this is episode 50. What are you talking about?
Brian's not going to make it, is he?
Every day gets a little harder, but you know what? Every day that goes on, it's a bit closer to the light at the end of the tunnel. At least we hope. So,
we'll see, man. Yeah, depending, like you can look for the better news or the worst news, but yeah, we might be waiting for wave 2. Sounds like our homies in Florida like uncapped that bottle early, and the foam is all over the place. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
isn't it just great? Isn't it just awesome? Right? Oh man, what a time!
Now you're where are you based out of these days? Because I know with your different careers over the years, you've moved around a little bit, and you were in Texas for a while, right?
Yeah, I was in Texas with Steve Jackson Games for a couple of years. And then last year, I spent most of that time in Georgia, up north of Atlanta, with another game company called CMON, or Come On Games. And then I wrapped out with those guys end of last year. And now I'm back in LA, and I'm pretty much just focusing on Crazy Bricks right now. Number one, because a lot of the event stuff I do is obviously going to be quiet for quite a while. And Crazy Bricks has always been kind of, a fun side hobby sort of business, but there's tons of stuff that I've always wanted to do and expand upon it. But, once you get involved with another big gig, it takes all your time away from doing it. So I'm kind of using this time to expand all the stuff. Like, to be fair, if COVID never happened, I probably never would have finished up Dino Dudes. It would be on the drafting board still, probably. So, this COVID thing sucks. Let's not pretend otherwise. But, taking your lemons and making lemonade out of it, I guess Dino Dudes would be the lemonade I have made from my personal lemons, I guess you could say.
And hey, if this situation never happened, I wouldn't have been able to talk to Joshua as often as I have.
Oh, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So in a sense, fate, destiny, the universe, whatever that is, decided to plague the world so your relationship could be stronger with Joshua.
Yes, that is the only reason why. Exclusively.
Yeah.
And what I couldn't. That's the only thing that's keeping me moving forward, man. Every single Tuesday, I look forward to this, and there it is.
Gaming streams on Thursdays, so everyone should check.
Okay, these streams are the highlight. Trust me.
Brian does a gaming stream every Thursday on Beyond the Brick as well. He's been going deep into the archives recently.
Yep. Shima and Bionicle, like Paraka, it's been a deep dive. It's been great.
I mean, it feels like it would have been easier just to take you guys out to Olive Garden together and could have bound that way,
right?
Whole worldwide pandemic thing.
And that would have made for better content than these live streams anyways. Just record us, me, Josh, John having a nice meal at Olive Garden.
Breadsticks at Olive Garden.
Unlimited soup and breadstick. We'll be there all day. All right.
Dude, breadstick challenge.
Live stream from Olive Garden. Who cares, right? They'll keep it open. It's fine.
I'm thinking Josh could put away a breadstick or two if he wanted.
I definitely can. It's a problem.
Actually, I went to Olive Garden with a friend of mine before, and she literally took a plastic bag to put the breadsticks in to take home with her. And I'm like, why do that? And then I ate them, and I'm like, now I get it. Now I understand. Okay.
And I think they do that, or okay, at some point they did, where it was like 2 for 1. Like they realized, hey, most people come here except for maybe the horrifically obese people, but pasta's a load, so you get a big meal, you eat maybe half, and then you pack up half to take home. And then they realize, like, hell, let's not pretend it's otherwise. You buy a meal, and we're gonna pack a meal for you to take home. Just that's how it works.
Yeah,
I just thought that was kind of genius because it really speaks to the truth of how people eat out. It's like, the leftovers in the fridge is kind of almost better than the original meal sometimes.
Well, the thing is, you gotta let it sit, which is actually a thing at least in my household. Mama's sauce always tastes better the day after because everything gets to sit a little while longer. Falls in the sauce, and then that just kind of soaks in more of the red sauce and it just tastes a little bit better. There's a science behind it, I'm sure, but I've never looked into it. I just assume and I believe.
Saviano.
Right.
Saviano.
That Nana sauce tastes so good the day after. Don't get it twisted otherwise.
So what's Handlin? What's the background on Handlin? Is that Dutch or something?
Irish. We just took the O off the beginning when we came here.
Henlano.
So, Handlin?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
is
thought
that
it was Henlano.
Irish or Scottish or what?
Yeah, Irish.
Oh, Irish.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, both my parents have family from there originally.
So easy to get sunburned. All the
a lot of the family. Yeah, I'm fortunate. I actually don't get it too bad, which is nice during the summers here. I've been out in the sun a lot recently, so it's been good. But no, definitely some family members that struggle with that.
Yeah, see, Brian's got those Mediterranean genes. He gets like probably black like an olive in the sun. He's just like
yes. I tan very well. I have Italian, Greek, and a little bit of Irish in me. But yeah, I definitely I get a nice toasty color when I'm out in the sun. I appreciate it.
Southern Italy, because they used to say, and again, this is old history, but you know, I guess the Italian populace originally were a lot more fair, and then you know, during all the invasions and when the Moors went through there and stuff, that's why like people in the southern part, I guess, tend to be darker complected from back in the history, and the Sicilians, and you know, so you have these what you would think is a traditional Italian, like dark-haired, dark-featured people, and then you go up north and you're like, who are all these guys? They're all kind of blonde and they kind of look like Joshua. Joshua doesn't look Italian, but he could be a northern Italian for all we know.
Right.
Yeah, close to Germany.
So
Like,
your name, wait, Josh,
no.
your name was supposed to be like Joshua O'Hanlon?
Right, yeah. There are a few like streets in like Irish cities, you know, like O'Hanlon streets and stuff. So it was like a somewhat common name.
I feel like, you know, I've done some work here and there for you guys. You have me on the quarantine cast. I know nothing about you. Like, you know, John, who's Tam O'Hanlon? I know nothing. This is like.
There's always so many new revelations, Brian. This is why, you know, we're 10 episodes in and there's still new stuff coming.
All right, I think this is the point where Joshua takes off his shirt and shows us his Yakuza tattoo on his back. Joshua, you have my permission. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. So after the stream ends, that's special just for you, Guy.
Oh, okay. Yakuza. Hey. Okay. Very good. Yeah, that was interesting. Like,
you know, we all have our dirty secrets. It's fine.
We did like 180 podcast episodes in the early days of Beyond the Brick, and I don't think it ever came up that my last name was O'Hanlon.
Interesting.
So we're really progressing quickly on Quarantine Cat.
Yeah, I bring more to the table than just Legos. There's more.
Right.
Get into the meat of the person. You know.
Exactly. Though there was a question to get back to your actual projects you have going on, Guy.
Mm-hmm.
There was a question from Brian here about do you ship your products to the UK as well?
Yeah. So if you go on site, pretty much anything ships first class. Stateside, I think like $5 for shipping charge, and then anything international is 15. And I just do a flat rate on it because international shipping goes anywhere from like $12 to $18.
Yeah.
Just too hard and sophisticated to set up the cartel store for that. So we just do a flat rate of 15, and you know, we win a little on some, we lose a little on others, but it kind of averages out. So yes, we very much do ship internationally. The only place we really don't like shipping to is Brazil. Is painfully bad just because of a lot of issues there, and there's one or two Eastern European countries that we don't ship to. But outside of that, we kind of ship everywhere. China, Russia.
I was amazed how much like shipping to the UK was. I'm like, it goes from being $5 anywhere in the US to 15. I'm like, whoa, all right.
Yeah, once you go past what's basically like a letter in an envelope, pretty much anything of any substance is going to be considered first class international postal, and that's pretty much a $15 hit.
Yeah.
Although, so strange places to ship to. Shipping into or out of Germany is more expensive the past year or two for whatever is going on there. shipping into and out of Canada, which is obviously our neighbor up north, that can be ridiculously expensive too. Like I've had things where it's more expensive to ship up to Canada than to ship, to Bahrain or somewhere. So there's something funky with the way we ship to Canada. Something's weird there.
Shipping systems in general just seem so all over the place sometimes. That's why it's so hard to calculate if you like sell stuff on Bricklink or sell stuff anywhere. It's like trying to keep a consistent, calculation to figure out what things cost can be really difficult.
Yeah, and especially right now, I've had a package that has been at my local UPS facility since literally June 1st, and it hasn't got to me because it's like it's just floating around somewhere. So it's all shot anyways.
Oh, I've had worse than that. So I was telling you about all the photographers I used on this project. I shipped out the international ones just like 2 days ahead of COVID really officially hitting everywhere. And the shipment to South Africa and the shipment to Italy just kind of fell off the map. And
Wow.
to Italy just got delivered maybe last week. So
Wow. Oh
2
my
months
goodness.
or so. Because when we ship from the States to international things, unless it's, expensive track stuff like FedEx or UPS, basically the US has agreements with all these different foreign countries, and they're saying, hey, we'll be responsible to get it to the international hub and then out to the local place. But then on first class mail, we kind of don't really track it beyond when we get reported back it's been delivered. So someone had explained this to me, like when you go to Alibaba and you buy all these things there and they ship for nothing, you think, well, that's impossible. How does it cost me $5 to ship from Los Angeles to Colorado, but yet something that's traveling 2/3 the distance of the globe can ship for free?
Well, that's Alibaba. They're like one of the biggest companies in the world, so they're probably like, all right, we'd rather take a little bit of a hit on this. It's like Amazon 2-day Prime shipping. They make money on other things and other deals. I'm sure they have that. They're like, all right, whatever. If it means we get it to you as quick as we can for free, you'll get more business from we'll get more business from you.
Well, the way that China does theirs is they're constantly moving shipping containers back and forth. So they are without a doubt the largest shippers on the planet. Like, the lion's share of everything probably is manufactured in China. So the ships are already going back and forth, and they have these special little shipper envelopes, as you were, and they'll just throw them in there and load up shipping containers. It arrives at a hub here, and the agreements that the different countries have are kind of like, we will contract with your country. So once your stuff lands here, we will deal with the expense of moving it from where it lands to its final destination. It's part of this agreement that's existed for a long time. So in effect, it really is cheaper for them because they don't really have any cost to ship it here, ultimately, in the big scale of things. And then the cost to move it from locally here to where its other destination is kind of absorbed in the agreement they have already. So they, in effect, by kind of gaming the system, it is cheaper to ship stuff from China than it is for you to ship it state to state because you're paying the actual cost to ship it, strangely enough. It's weird that way, but that's kind of how it works. And that's, why it takes longer to get to you too. Your time you're waiting is not the shipping interstate. It's the time for that boat to chug along the ocean and plop it down in the port. And then from there, it's virtually free cost for them to ship it.
And those guys, like, they could still charge you if they wanted to, but, the goodwill built on top of that, they're like, oh, we'll just do it for free. So.
Yeah, I mean, some businesses, it makes sense in their model to absorb that shipping cost. Yeah. And it's like, hey, that's cost we would normally pay for like a brick and mortar store. So it's really not an expense to us. It's just paying for it in a different way. So I understand that part. But yeah, the China thing is funky. I'm sure if they impose some reforms in there, that's probably one of the things that should be looked at. But I'm sure that'll be really punitive too. Like we'll do something here, and then China will be like, "Screw you," and they'll do something on their end. It's going to be strange times with shipping, and especially with kind of the risk that the USPS is at right now. which would be a shame. I don't know what they need to do to make that happen, but we as a country are extremely unique in the fact that we can take a letter and basically for 40, 45 cents, mail it anywhere in the US. That is kind of unique to the United States because we run this nonprofit post office. Anywhere else in the world, you're going to pay multi-dollars to ship that same letter within your country. And, our international shipping is way cheaper than anywhere else as well. So we really want to make sure we keep our USPS going because everybody's going to pay up the wazoo for that. If that gets privatized, we're going to be screwed. Yeah, shipping's going to start doing this. Not going to be good.
Support your local post office.
Do it.
Hey, the post
Those
office.
John Oliver stamps. Those last night, tonight stamps. So as an Irishman, Joshua, do you have a drinking problem? We know about the gun issues. You fight a lot? Is that part of your Irish heritage?
All of the above. Just where do I start?
You just ever take a potato and eat it raw like an apple?
Actually, funny enough, my mom loves to do that, which I've always thought was really strange. But like her grandpa came straight over here from Ireland, so I guess the close connections there.
Yeah, that's a very Irish thing.
Yeah, so I guess now it makes sense to me. I never thought about that before.
Yeah, you can't escape your destiny.
The deep roots of it all right here though. So many family connections are coming together here.
Nice.
It's like, hey, the shipping services in the U.S. are pretty wonky. Joshua, do you have a drinking problem? Like that delivery was perfect, absolutely perfect.
I hope you're taking notes, Brian. Guy has a lot to teach you.
I am. I absorb everything just like Joshua absorbs his Irish heritage. So it works out.
This is the color of wisdom here, Brian.
Right.
You have to earn this. It doesn't happen on accident.
Yep. I'm getting there a little bit. You can't see it here, but
all right, one day.
My parents' 30th wedding anniversary, and for their anniversary, we actually me and my siblings all got together and gifted them a trip to Ireland because they've never been there, and my mom especially has always wanted to go. And then obviously like COVID hit and everything, so they're having to hold off. But I think they're going to be able to do it next year. Hopefully, is the plan. But they'll finally be able to go to Ireland and see the country, which will be super cool.
They're going to go to the O'Hanlon Street and cross out the O and then come back home.
Yep, they got to get the photo at the O'Hanlon Street for sure.
Nice. All right, well, cool, guys. Well, yeah, I think I showed you most of the new goodies. Anything else you want to see?
I did want to talk to you if you've got more time, unless you get going. I think it was interesting, and what made me think of this is there was a YouTube channel called Gamer from Mars. I don't know if you've heard of that. It makes a lot of interesting videos about kind of like YouTube and online kind of platforms in general. Made an interesting video about Kickstarter just like within the last few weeks here, and kind of how Kickstarter has seen a decline in popularity due largely to what Brian was touching on earlier about how people do these projects and then maybe they aren't very dependable and they don't actually give what everybody expected from it. So how have you seen like Kickstarter sort of as a platform change over the years? You've been doing this a lot of years because when we first did our Kickstarter projects, which is how we funded our early convention coverage, you had done some and you were super helpful in giving us tips on that. So I really appreciate that as well, because those early days before we were getting like revenue from YouTube or anything, those Kickstarter projects really helped us keep going and get to Brick World Chicago and some of those early shows. But how have you kind of seen the platform change over the years, and has your approach to these projects changed in any dramatic way?
I mean, in my experience, the majority of all the projects deliver. I mean, I'm sure it's got to be over 90%, over 95%. Like people pledge the money and the stuff gets delivered. I think that's probably what most of them are. And obviously the more newsworthy things are going to be the ones where they fail. So
yeah,
as far as, are they all failing? Everyone's a liar. They're taking your money and running with it. I think that makes for a great headline. But, I've probably supported 30, 40 Kickstarters over the many years, and I don't think any of them have ever flaked out. I mean, stuff might arrive later than initially guessed, but I don't think anyone has not delivered on a thing I've pledged for. Although there's one cool one, because I'm a mechanical guy, there's this really cool pen I pledged for. And it's ridiculous. It's like a James Bond pen, but imagine a pen, it looks like a pen, and then when you take it apart, it's all full of like knitting needles and buttons and threads and spools. It's kind of like James Bond's sewing, all secreted away. And they've way gone past their delivery date, but it's been super amazing project because they're showing you all the steps in their manufacturing. When they have manufacturing problems, it becomes part of that sort of story that you're invested in that Kickstarter. So they're bringing you along on that journey with them, which I think is awesome because you don't have that, with the toaster you buy at Target. It's just like, hey, if you really need a toaster right now, you're not going to buy one off Kickstarter. You're going to go and just buy a toaster and be done with it. So I think part of that Kickstarter experience that's unique to that, or like an Indiegogo, is you are emotionally invested into that product. Now, having said all that, the big shift that I've probably seen since I first started doing it was the original spirit of Kickstarter was literally a Kickstarter. You're a dude at home in your garage. You have this great idea. You don't have the cash, the funds, the wherewithal to invest to start that project. So you go to Kickstarter and you get up on your soapbox and you get to present your project to the world and say, hey, here's my idea. If you help me make it happen, I will reward you with X. And the more you put in, the greater that reward will be. It wasn't a retail channel. It was very much, it's you're donating to a project. So there was really no guarantee that you were going to get it because it was very literally a donation. And the unspoken trust was, in exchange for your donation, you're going to get a reward. As time has gone on and a lot of the publishers, manufacturers have realized, hey, this is basically a built-in marketing / distribution channel. I think that's been the big shift. So you'd have these companies that have had early successes. Now Kickstarter has become a full-blown distribution channel for them. Good example of that would be like CMON Games, Come On Games. A lot of these different game publishers, they've realized that the distribution chains have gotten messed up. Some of the brick and mortar stuff's gotten messed up. And some of them just exclusively use Kickstarter to fund out their new projects. But the one beauty of Kickstarter is that it is merciless. So let's say Joshua has an idea like, hey, I want to make Joshua pants. Everyone named Joshua is going to buy them. It's a great idea. I'm Joshua. I'll buy Joshua pants. So you go on Kickstarter and, after Joshua pledges and Joshua's mom and dad pledge, that's kind of the end of your market. So there's Joshua pants, although they're great for Joshua's, nobody else wants to buy them. So we kind of saved Joshua from investing his life savings.
Thank you.
Joshua pants. I would buy some Joshua, but there's just not enough here. Even my stuff. I've had one or two projects that for various reasons didn't fund. So it sucks they didn't fund, but probably good for me in that I didn't invest a bunch of capital into a project that ultimately wasn't going to sell. So, it's a good test ground for ideas also. Yeah, have you guys had any Kickstarters you back that didn't deliver?
No, not that I can think of. I certainly haven't backed as many as you have over the years, but anything we have done has always come through. But yeah, like you said, I think it's just the ones that don't come through are the newsworthy ones, because then it's like, the whole negative press thing, and you can make this big story out of it.
Yeah, what's my big one? There's an amazing project. It's called Kingdom Death. It's a gaming project, and I think it was the single most successful Kickstarter gaming project in its time. I want to say it raised over $12 million,
Wow.
which is a big chunk. And maybe since then one game has surpassed that, but for them, they were the chief for a long time. And the guy that runs it is very much an artist, And he has no qualms about saying, hey, we were going to deliver this 2 years ago. I don't like it yet. It's not ready. Where else could you do that except Kickstarter? Like, you've made your own community, and it's like, oh, I'm going to deliver, but I'm not just going to crap it out until it's up to my standards artistically. And people are fine with it because he can show the updates, he can show the art, he can show the sculpts. So it's not like he's sitting on it. He's just not going to release it till it's ready to go, which is kind of neat. I mean, it's very much against the corporate retail model. Just for that alone, it's probably worth it. You know, corporate America is kind of a drag. What does
did that? Here's
big companies utilizing these kinds of sites to produce products? I was personally not a fan of Lego using Indiegogo for their Forma theme. Thank you, Mr. Hinklejaws. I think especially if you're a larger company, the risk you run of going to a Kickstarter or Indiegogo is turning off your customer base. Where it's like, you're a giant company. Can't you afford to make your own products? Can't you afford to take the risks to put things out there? Why do I have to be the bank to loan money to your large company to get you to produce stuff? And I think that's the perception you have to be really careful with. You know, it could be great for Lego. It could be, hey, we have an idea. We're not really sure if it's going to be popular. So let's put it out there and see what the public says. On the surface, that sounds fine. But I think as far as a media, press, public perception thing, that's the risk I think you run with a large company trying to use these funding platforms.
It's almost like pre-selling it, sort of, yeah, and just seeing what the interest is.
I mean, if it was an enormous bargain, like maybe, hey, you're going to get it 35, 40% off the eventual retail if you're willing to invest with us early, you know, maybe that risk reward is okay. It's like, all right, we know we'll turn a few people off because we're doing it, but the people that see the opportunity will so far outweigh that bad press, you know, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I'd probably be in the camp of, hey, Lego, you're big enough. You can fund your own projects. You know, why would you have anyone, you know, you're the second largest toy company in the world. Get your act together. You don't need Indiegogo to launch products, for crying out loud.
Right. You certainly would think they'd have the funding to be able to do everything themselves.
Yeah, maybe that's the fallout from that kind of strategy. I don't know. What was your guys' take on that when they did that? I mean, I think that's the one with like the
fish. What? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was an awesome set and it had all that weird stuff you could like color yourself or print, I think.
I think the biggest issue was it was super limited in who could get it. Wasn't it just like the US and the UK or something like that were the only countries that it was open to? So I think that was definitely the biggest issue that people had with the project.
Yeah, I mean, how well did it do? It looks like it funded okay, 1,000%.
Yeah, I think it definitely hit it, and they were certainly aimed at like you know, an adult market, which people appreciated, sort of more artistic type product, but still that sort of playability to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I have too much Lego and too many sets already. Were it not for that, if I just had infinite space, I would have bought like 10 of those. Yeah, that's a cool set.
The skins were really cool. So we had Boone Langston do a video on Beyond the Brick, so people can check that out if they haven't seen these, where he kind of collaborated with an artist friend of his to create some really cool skins for the fish and mix that up so that when you were moving it, it made some really neat designs.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody was offering to give me one of those, I wouldn't even think twice. I'd be like, give it to me. Do I need to go and buy it? I mean, I just have too many sets personally. But mechanically, yeah, I got a really deep respect for that look. That's awesome. And I'm a little obsessed with fish too. So it feels like they were appealing to me when they did these.
Yeah, I think with Forma specifically, it was for a much different audience than what Lego typically, you know, marketed toward at the time. And then Indiegogo being the platform they had it on, was a different headline than just having it be on like the Lego shop. So maybe they were trying to just grab a different sort of perspective. And I saw it as a pre-order rather than, you know, instead of it being in the stores and being a much more mass-produced product, it was something, you know, this is specifically for the people who want it, and we're going to test it. And if things like this continue to do well, then maybe you'd see that, you know, across more even distribution, retail, online, etc. But, you know, it did well for what it was, but I don't think it was something that transcended the core people that really wanted it and appreciated it, like the collectors and those who were really curious about it. So I don't know if it's a one and done, but I think, you know, there's been one Forma project so far that came out, a year ago? So who knows if there would be something like that to happen in the future. But I didn't see it as like, oh, Lego needs the money to fund the project. Obviously they don't. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. It's just a pre-order and a different platform to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, and the people that take that attitude about it generally probably don't understand the greater things that well. But at that point, it doesn't matter. They're taking this position for whatever, you know, offenses, real and imagined, that, you know, have occurred. Like, how dare they? It's like, and dude, don't support it. That's all you need to do, is not support it, and then we don't have to hear your lecture and your complaints online, sitting there eating Cheetos from your keyboard
with your wallet, as
no, I think it's a cool set. So did those ever become available outside of the Indiegogo, or that was it?
That was it.
So are these like super collectible now? Like if you find them?
I don't know.
Question. I haven't paid attention. I don't know if anyone in the chat has like paid attention to the aftermarket of these.
I will look that up right now on the Bay of E.
Especially considering the fact that they were so limited geographically too, to who could order them originally. So you would think there'd definitely be some demand from people who couldn't get them when they were available.
Because I know there was like some of those like Chinese New Year sets that for a while you could only get in China, and you know, you had a bunch of fans all miffed about that.
So
actually they opened those up to distribution beyond China. Okay.
So one of the listings that I'm seeing here was sold 2 weeks ago. All three of the skins, including the original Forma kit, that normally went for $100, and it's at like $290 right now. So about triple the retail value. So
oh wow,
it is definitely
a good investment. Yeah,
it's a good investment if you got it for that purpose. I mean, I actually ordered this for an older colleague of mine way back when, and I guess he liked it, but for me, it was never something, you know, I was interested in. But the idea is really cool. The concept, you know, a technically made Lego set like that is cool.
Yeah, because when I first saw it, I thought it was something from is it JK Brickworks?
Right, very much along the lines of what he does.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, and then I realized it was like an in-house project.
Yeah, totally.
See, what I really like, I like that that new haunted house that Carl Miriam and his guys did over there. That's beautiful. That one.
Yeah. So many callbacks to different sets in there, and then the action, everything about that set. Yeah.
I need to call Carl and remind him he owes me some favors and have him send me that set. I'll make room for that one.
There you go. You work some things out with him.
Yeah, I'll work it out with Carl.
Have you ever thought about using any platform besides Kickstarter for the different products you've done over the years?
I mean, I've never really explored it because obviously I have a bit of a known audience in Kickstarter. So I don't, like, let's say tomorrow I said, I'm going to Indiegogo. Like, I don't know what the upside for that would be for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. People are familiar with your stuff on Kickstarter, and that's what you've used, so you're also familiar with it. So it's like, why bother trying to change to somewhere else?
Yeah, and the nice part is, you know, like if you ever supported one of mine, generally when a new one comes out, I'll send an update to previous Kickstarters and say like, hey, this is coming out. So that's your top tier marketed folks already. Like they've already, you know, been happy with the stuff you've done. And yeah, I don't know what Indiegogo would get me. The one thing that was a little funky with Kickstarter, but it's kind of adjusted a bit, is in the early days, like there was a lot of things where you would include shipping in the pledge charge. And then as things got more sophisticated, you could isolate it out. And like 2 or so ago, they actually had a more specific system for isolating out the shipping charges. So in my mind, I was like, okay, cool. There's going to be something that reflects the funds you raise toward the project. And then separate from that are the shipping charges, you're accumulating. But it's kind of goofy the way they had it set up. So you would have like funds raised inclusive of those shipping charges. So the reason that's a problem is obviously things you're shipping domestically are going to be a $5 charge. Things internationally are going to be, 300% greater than that. So if your total raised is inclusive of the shipping charges, how do you know what you actually raised in that number? Like if it's all people from Guatemala, too much of that percentage is going to be foreign shipping charges in that total. And, shipping charges don't help get your project done. That's just a cost that, nobody profits at. Well, maybe the post office, but you as a creator or you as the supporter, there's no profit or benefit in that to either of you. It's just a cost that's there. I didn't like how that was structured. So what I've been doing lately is we will raise the funds independent of shipping charges. And then in BackerKit, which shout out to BackerKit, those guys are awesome. I've used them kind of since they started in the very beginning, and just excellent customer service. And although I think I'm a reasonably intelligent person, something always just gets me stuck on something in the shipping system. And I'm always on the phone or emailing the folks over there like, why isn't this working? Well, how do I make this happen? Like I've never done it before in my life. But they're very patient and have always been super helpful. But anyhow, people pledge just for the product, and then the shipping charges are charged separately during the product survey. So the money that I raise, I know is actual money toward completing the project, not commingled or contaminated with shipping charges.
Right. So it's easier to keep track then, and it doesn't get all mixed up.
Yeah, it's a more realistic measure of the success of your campaign. If you needed to raise 10 and you hit 10, you're like, all right, I legitimately did, because you try to build into that number. There's fees you're going to pay to, what are they called again? Kickstarter. Yeah, fees to Kickstarter. There's some fees to the folks that collect your funds. So, there's little percentages getting nipped around that you build into your cost. And, usually your funding goal is just your break-even number, which is usually what mine is too. I just want to have the cost of my injection molds covered, because that's your big upfront cost. And then anything past that is just like, hey, cool, we got a lot of sales, ahead of actually producing it. And then if you really go big, cool, you got to expand your mold set or just offer colors and things that you wouldn't otherwise invest in.
Are a lot of your funding goals for your projects in the similar price range, or does that depend pretty dramatically on what you're trying to make?
Yeah, it just depends on the mold set. So with the system that I use for the injection mold, there's a limit to how many things you can get per squirt, let's call it, per injection run. So the Dino dudes, assuming that everything gets unlocked, that will maximize the potential of that particular mold set. So there will be no more room to fit any other pieces. Those, 5 and 10. So those 10 elements will completely fill that mold and will just be at the edge of a complete injection run that runs it. Yeah. What was I going to show you that was neat? Oh, on the T-Rex, forgot. And this wasn't actually my idea. Do you guys know Paul Lee?
Yeah.
So Paul worked with me on a lot of the design ideas when I was working on these earlier, and the illustrations you see at the beginning are ones that he drew. It was his idea, because this was very much reminded me of the inflatable costumes you'd wear. And that was kind of a combination of Paul's idea, the big hips that just sort of exist but line up with the legs. When you see those inflatable T-Rex costumes, they have those giant big hips.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super happy with those. I don't know why those make me giggle so much. And another thing you're seeing here too is the prototype material absorbs and reflects light differently than the injection molded plastic material. So where there's time, most of the photos we would color correct out these things. So these are just hand painted, the prototype pieces. But in the final run, it's color matched plastic. So it would all be the same shade of dark brown or reddish brown or whatever they're going to be. But I like the booty. That's got a nice booty on it.
That's something you're always looking for in your products.
Yeah, we used to call it, we're going to call it booty bricks, but someone had that already. And it was a somewhat inappropriate website. You don't want to know. Don't ever go to booty bricks.
Thank you for that warning, Guy. That's what we need you here for.
I don't know if Brian heard the warning. I feel like he's going to go there.
I feel like he's not paying attention.
Listen,
Yeah.
so anyways, great things you're showing us here today. The thick-thighed dinosaurs. It's great. Something I think everyone in the chat can appreciate as well.
Thank you, Guy. We appreciate it. Yes. We should remind everyone, if you've just joined us recently, crazybricks.com, you can find all of Guy's amazing products for sale. And then June 16th is when the dinos drop on Kickstarter. So you can go over, check those out. You can either hit the button right now to get an alert or just head over on June 16th and support the project when it goes live.
Yeah, and very much either Instagram or the Facebook page, you can find the link that will take you to the pre-launch page for the reminder. And very much so, there's links to the toy photographers that have been amazing helps to me. They're super talented folks. Go visit those pages. Amazing photographers. The amount of talent on display by these 5 guys is kind of immeasurable. And they really helped bring the dinosaur prototypes to life. So you'll see the links to all of their pages too. You should definitely check them out.
For sure. Yeah. So go over and check that stuff out, everyone. But Guy, it's been great to have you join us on the stream today. Like I mentioned before, I always love seeing what new products you think up, and it is very, very unique, original stuff, and that's what I love from any of the kind of third-party retailers in the Lego community. They come up with so many great ideas that, Lego isn't doing, but help give new products, and like the crazy arms of the community that they'll let people build so many new things.
Yeah, I can actually, well, the next 2 Kickstarters are pretty much, it's just a question of which will go which. I can't show you guys on air, but when we're off air, I'll show you one of the next ones, which I think you will find quite fun. But I'll show you off air. And yeah, definitely get Joe on the show. Get Citizen Brick on here. Joe is super fun to talk to, and again, he's the guy. There's no one doing pad printing at that level of skill that he is. Yeah, get Joe on would be nice.
Well,
and get O'Hanlon's Pub. They're should have them as a sponsor.
Yes.
And what was the one? Oh, Brian said, what was it? Booty Bricks. He wants them as a sponsor also.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of avenues we can go down here, so there's a lot of opportunities to pursue. Let's put it that way.
Excellent. I'm glad we had this chance, the 3 of us together. When does this go? When do we actually start broadcasting live?
Oh,
so actually 30 minutes from now. So we're gonna keep talking like nobody's listening. And,
okay, good.
And then we go live for about 5 minutes, and then the rest of the time after that, we just talk again.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, because I have my script here. I'm ready when we go live.
Right. I have my PowerPoint slide, and then my AI is gonna take over. So.
And I
don't
hear it all, so I have nothing.
Josh doesn't exist. Yeah.
When do we turn up the switch for virtual Josh off?
Yes. John operates that actually, so he just kind of keeps everything going on the back end.
Yeah, that's at least 2032 is when real Joshua might come back. Maybe.
I like it. I like it, guys.
There we go. Yes. So much good stuff out there, but everyone make sure to check out crazybricks.com and Guy's work online. We'll have links to the projects in the description of the video, so you can check all of that stuff out as well there. But lots of cool stuff the Guy has coming down the pipeline, so we look forward to seeing more of your projects. And if shows do happen later this year, do you have any plans for Brickcon or anything like that, Guy? if it happens?
I mean, traditionally I've always gone to Brickworld and Brickcon every year, just as by default, and then just a smattering of whatever their shows I'm nearby or are occurring nearby. But those are pretty much my always shows, are those two. So yeah, bummer about Brickworld.
Mm-hmm.
I assume we'll all be good by next year, so hopefully it'll be bigger, better, double cool fun. And Brickcon, I guess we still don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, got to give that a little more time, but we'll see. But I think you did mention you're doing stuff for Virtual Con, right? For Brickworld Virtual Online?
Yeah, I'll be doing a presentation talking about Kickstarters and sort of my development manufacturing process. So I think I'll be showing the little cocktail napkin sketch that originally started the idea of Dino Dudes. I'll show some of the digital models and how they progressed and changed over the course of development. I'll show some of the prototype pieces before they're painted and kind of walk through my whole process.
Here you go. Here's the Brickworld website. So yeah, we talked about this with various people on the show. Some really great people involved with Brickworld Virtual Con, and Guy will be added to that group here for the next one. That it's not. Let's see, June 27th. I think is the next Virtual Con. Is the date there? So still time.
Yeah, I think that's the day. I don't know the time yet because they're East Coast, but I'll be doing like a 45-minute, hour-long presentation and have a lot of cool stuff to show and share during that too.
Awesome stuff. We'll look forward to that then. I think there's multiple virtual cons planned for throughout the rest of this year. So lots of neat projects coming down the pipeline. But yeah, thank you, Guy. This has been fantastic. It's always great to chat with you. It's been a little while since we've had an opportunity, so I'm glad we could catch up here and talk about Lego as well as many other important topics.
Yeah, I miss talking at Brickworld where it's kind of more like, what? Yeah, that whole yelling thing. So it was nice not to have to yell at you.
Yes, that's always more enjoyable.
And I feel like Brian yells at you enough. So I mean,
between him and John, it's just like, what am I going to do?
What are you going to do? Good point. What are you going to do?
Yeah, usually after the guest leaves for the podcast, I berate Joshua for whatever remaining time is left. So
should we do that, or should we end this one a little early, Brian?
I mean, I am ready to still rock and roll because I obligate my time until the wheels officially fall off. So I got the energy. If you got the time, hey man, it's up to you.
And remember, the official sponsor of this show is Pike. That's fish on a stick. Not fish sticks, fish literally on a stick.
Wow. There you go.
So don't forget that.
Well, then we won't make you stick around any longer, Guy, but Brian and I will stick around on the stream then for a little longer and probably keep chatting for a little bit just to give all the viewers, their full
quality content
time slot of Brian Bricks O'Brien content.
Excellent. All right. Well, gentlemen, a pleasure. Brian, good to meet you, bud.
Nice to meet you as well, sir.
Yes. Always great to chat, Guy. So we will talk to you later then. And best of luck with the project.
Look at that. We can totally fade it out. We're going to be like, okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow, that worked really good. Okay. So when we go live, that's what we'll do.
Oh, yes. There you go.
So if you just back out of the room and stay there for a little while, then we'll call you when we are live.
So you guys, I mean, you'll call me, right? If I wait here, you guys are going to call me, right?
My people will call your people.
Okay, because I'm going to wait until then. Like I haven't eaten lunch. I'm just going to wait.
Right.
You just keep waiting and somebody will call you.
Yeah, just keep waiting. We'll be in touch.
Okay, don't forget me.
Yep. Okay. Yep, sir. Yep. And there. Yep. Yeah, and there he goes into the night, and there.
Oh, okay, good.
We're not calling him back. We're not.
I've actually deleted his number from my.
Who was on the show? Oh man, we learned about
knowledge of Guy Himber.
Yes, of course. Knowing all sorts of information about the Dino Dudes, the the production process of that, and more importantly, international shipping. So we've talked about capitalism and we've talked about shipping costs. This is really stellar content.
When he talked about all of the shipping that China does, it reminded me of this really crazy article I read I read recently, where it was about how if war broke out between the America and China, because Chinese shipping is like such a big part of their economy and they do so much more than what the US does, then the US might start handing out letters of marque to privateers to interdict Chinese shipping, because that would be like one of their major weak points. We haven't done that since like the War of 1812, but that would be like a potential strategy of just like handing out, like basically turning like private citizens into pirates to take over Chinese shipping.
That is much more than I thought. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, which would be kind of insane since we haven't done that in so long in our history. But hey, I guess if it works.
Hey, you just spoiled Guy's shipping methods. I don't know if he is okay with that, but I'm sure we'll get a call from his people when he gets called to be on the show.
Shout out to Guy for literally leaving Brian speechless 3 times. I've lost track of how many times Guy's left me speechless over the years. You know, we've had on the podcast, talked to him at shows, and there's always like multiple moments where I just am overwhelmed.
Right. And it's more so, see, like I can dish out, you know, whatever he's tossing on the table, but I also want to present this in a family friendly manner. This is a wholesome show. Now, you know, I don't want to go too off the rails here. So I got to make sure I articulate whatever I'm saying, you know, in a friendly manner. So let that be known.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Guy skirts that line, you know, very, very close.
Yes, gracefully so, might I add. Kevin said, oh, we haven't done something in decades. Have you met 2020 Joshua? Like, is he asking you a question?
I don't know.
Have you met 2020? Oh, we haven't done so. I don't understand. I'm on so little sleep. All right.
What happened to your sleep last night? I saw in the chat at the beginning you were like, "Oh, I
don't know." So like so what's happened a couple of times is I've woken up gone to bed super late, working on some quality Beyond the Brick content, and then wake up super early.
I've got my Brickmania mug here.
There you go. Hashtag sponsor. And what has happened a couple of times is I've been so like, man, I'm just tired, and I'll sit down in a chair and literally just like knock out for like an hour, like just in a chair with all the lights on. And I'm like, man, I must be really tired. So I'm also trying to realign my sleep schedule, etc. So I don't know, but hey, the coffee is working, the water's working.
Duncan?
So yeah, I'm good. Don't you worry. Alyssa wanted to circle back to the endless breadsticks discussion. Olive Garden is just okay. If you're a true Italian, no, get it out of here. But you know, it'll do the job in a pinch.
I mean, it's like any of those like big sort of you know, large retail Italian restaurants. Chain.
Yeah.
That was the word I was thinking of. Chain Italian restaurants. I mean, there's a number of them that are decent, but they're not going to be as good as like your smaller, you know, local Italian type places.
What did you say?
Me?
Yeah.
I said
say it again.
The chain ones aren't as good as the smaller local Italian restaurants.
Italian?
Yeah.
Italian.
Is that a major point of contention for you?
Italian.
I don't.
Italian. Cohesive word. It's not.
I've never even noticed how I don't. I probably go back and forth with how I pronounce it.
That's not how it. That's how I know you're not
well, I never claimed to be. Yeah.
Well, right, but I just want to make it clear.
I got to make sure it's now I can't say it. Now you messed it up. Now I'm gonna be super self-conscious about it. It's like sometimes I'll say a word in a video and then like every comment is about how I mispronounce some word in a video.
Like I've done that in the Technic video with
I noticed that. Yeah.
So like, you know, I talk to a lot of Lego friends and they're like, well, it's Chiron, you know, whatever. And I'm like, all right, let me say it this way. And then the way I've thought about it now is like, even if I mess something up, it gets somebody to comment and engage and be a part of the discussion. So I'm like, I'll just leave it in. It's fine. Whatever. So like in the Star Wars video, I called Uncle Owen from the Sandcrawler Uncle Ben because I'm like, well, he's also an uncle that died in a pop culture movie, so I guess it's fine. Whatever, just leave it. It's good. It's fine.
I don't understand people like our Europeans who get so upset when an American like sort of mispronounces a European word. I like when Andreas comes on the stream and mispronounces an American English word. I don't get super upset at him. They're like, okay, yeah, he's not a native English speaker. He's gonna mispronounce something that's understandable.
I think it goes along the lines of like you're like an ignorant American. You're not cultured. You just like shoving hamburgers in your mouth like that stereotype, which is half true, but like, you know, like I don't have the energy enough to go and actually figure out what the proper pronunciation of this thing is. And I guess I said it, you know, properly the first time and then unintentionally mispronounce it, reconfirming that was the actual way you said it with the Bugatti Chiron. So I did like a reverse joke that people were mad at, and I'm like, all right, whatever, it's fine. So
Kevin's very upset about the Uncle Ben thing.
They're both uncles that die. It's fine. It's fine.
And now you're Uncle Ben in his contact list.
Uh-oh. There it is. That's fine. It's understandable. Joshua has the best smile have you seen, says that loser.
Oh, thank you.
My smile is atrocious. I'm glad you have a good smile to make up for the both of us, Joshua. There you go.
You didn't need to insult your own smile just because there was
it's one of the things. I know that like I'm a beautiful man. I know that. But like when I smile, it's just like a curdling of my face. It's not like an elegant
man. I love it. I mean, I don't disagree. It's true.
It's not an elegant smile like yours. You know, when you smile, it's like the room lights up. When I smile, it's like you can dial it back a little bit, you know.
That's the only thing I have going for me. I mean, what it's
you have a Lego YouTube empire with your brother Timothy O'Hanlon. All right,
it's
you're good.
John's actual work ethic and talent in my smile.
But that's a part of the dynamic. That's why it works. That's why it works. So, yeah. Otherwise,
Jeff says you've never had an uncle.
Ben was never have what?
Oh, Ben. Oh, I see. Oh, that's what. Oh, I thought that was a weird comment. I was like, what? Okay, sorry. I got mixed up on his comment there.
No, what usually happens, at least in my live streams, Joshua, is like the chat goes like this. So like they're seeing it a couple of seconds, after the fact, and we've already moved on to something else. So they're trying to catch up, and we're trying to read it back. It's very, you got to get like this. So. Sleep deprived. I can't even say the words. Sleep deprived brine is spicy. This is if you have me on this 24-hour live stream, which I'm not confirming I'm doing, by the way, but you're gonna get like so that's gonna be the whole time.
Have you ever done a 24-hour live stream?
Absolutely not. Not a chance. No.
They're great. It's not bad. I mean, there's like a few hours in the middle of the night, my time, like 3 to 5 or 6 a.m. is the hardest. But besides that, it really doesn't feel bad.
So I feel like what I've always said to my stream, because people are like, oh, Brian, you should do a 24-hour charity thing and blah, blah, blah. And obviously, for charity, duh. But what I would need to do is if I were doing this like on my own channel, I couldn't do it by myself. I need other people with me. Right. I need my friends coming by or whatever. So if there is a constant rotation of people, then I'm good. So if for like the 24-hour stream or whatever, there was like, all right, this person's going to show up for 4 hours. You got Vision here for a little while, then Mike and Bubba, all down the line. And that way, people have a schedule to tune into and then look forward to. And then, when it's the midnight oil in the US, then people from over in the UK are more awake and then they can hop in and then blah, 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 blah. But if you don't have a lineup, I feel like that gets tough because some people, if the conversation runs dry, then you're like, start falling asleep. Right. At least I feel like,
Which is why we have for the 24-hour live stream, we have the form that people fill out ahead of time. And then we have this long list of email addresses that we send the invite out to. And then we have people coming in the entire time. And we also we're much less like in moderator mode. So because we go for so long, like anyone can join and we're much looser with the conversation though. I guess compared to some of these streams, that's maybe not true, but it's much more, just anybody come in and any topic of conversation because there is 24 hours to fill from that perspective. So yeah, you definitely need a lot of people coming and going. And then yeah, with the time difference, it's great. So like, 3 a.m. my time, we get like Justin Ramsden coming in from Denmark doing like crazy stuff. Who knows what? And so then you always have people to talk to and keeping things entertaining.
Yeah, I thought like, if you had basically the quarantine cast style like roster of people showing up with all the contributors and whatever, like that would be a cohesive, like a good piece of content and keep it interesting for people.
Maybe we could get Jang on the 24-hour live stream. That'd be something.
We can get Ganache bricks.
Oh, right. Yeah, forget Jang.
Chains. Right.
Kevin says he served his time and he's out. So
get him back in. He's a coward. Kevin Hink's a coward. Get him back in.
Kevin, he was using so many excuses during the stream, like he has kids and he needs to see them or something.
Listen,
his wife wants to see them.
Children.
I mean, it's just so many dumb excuses he was coming up with.
Already straight, Kevin. Well, I got to work and feed my family. I got to take care of children.
Right. I mean, can your kids not feed themselves?
Yeah. Right. Come on, please.
But whatever. He tried.
You can't call me that, Brian. You haven't done it. Well, I think I can say whatever I want to because I'm on the live stream and you're not. So there you go.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we don't like Kevin in these streams.
No, he's not allowed. No. Not allowed at all. He has moderator privileges. That's about it. Just leave him at that.
I've been loving your gaming streams, though. Some of these, the Chima game, I didn't even know that existed. Actually, I don't think I knew the Bionicle one existed either. So these have all been like very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, I was very surprised, and I think it's very telling that after the fact, more people watch the Chima stream than the Bionicle Hero stream, and I'm like, wow, that is a testament there to something. I've enjoyed them, obviously, obligated to say that because of Clone Armory Customs, shout out. But no, it's been a good time, and everybody in the live stream seems to like get the vibe, and we all play around. It's a good time. So if you're bored with nothing to do, that's just a good way to hang out. And usually that happens in my live streams too. Most of the people that are there don't care about what I'm playing. They care about just talking amongst themselves and whatever. So, yeah.
Kevin, I'm in the stream in more places than you'd realize.
Oh, yeah. Kevin is like the overseeing, eyes of the sky. I'm fully aware, but
he's like the conspiracy theorists in the community know that like Kevin is pulling the strings behind everybody. Everything behind the scenes is Kevin.
Exactly right. Every single Lego outlet, everything that is Big Kev Dog over there. That's him.
But I will say, for people who always ask us why we don't cover more Bionicle creations, I think you look at the amount of viewers and the popularity of the Bionicle stream, and I'm pretty sure that answers that question.
Like people do crazy stuff with Bionicle, and Bionicle is such a, from what I've seen, such a diehard, like you're in right, or you're just like whatever. There's that casual base that like loves Bionicle as the nostalgic thing that they had when they were kids, and now they're in our 20. Like people like us in our 20s are like, oh, that was cool, but like people still build exclusively with the Bionicle system, and Lego just isn't making the pieces that go with that system too well. So how many more creations can you do? How much can you elaborate on that? So like, I feel it's more limited to what you can do with it long term until if they ever come back out with it again, which, but I've seen crazy things, crazy cool things, but yeah.
Right, and there are some impressive builds out there, and we cover stuff occasionally, but if the popularity isn't there, it's hard for us to cover things that we just know no one's going to watch, or a very, very small amount of people are going to watch. Yeah,
and that's a part of, your business and what you want to do. Right. And, that makes sense. Something pertaining to Star Wars, which has had updates for the past 10 years compared to Bionicle. Yeah, totally. And, more shows are relevant and whatever. I'm surprised because I've been on this kick, and I'll actually share it with you in a few seconds here, but I've been on a kick of like getting older Lego sets, and I'm surprised at how cheap on Bricklink the original Toa are. So I don't think many people are like getting as many of those, and like maybe the nostalgia hasn't hit like a big high in a while, but I was surprised how easy it is to accumulate Bionicle parts like that.
Do you want Bionicle stuff? Because I actually have like a bunch of like a Craigslist lot of sets I had, and there's like 5 or 6 Bionicle sets in there that I have no interest in. So if you want them, I'll gladly send them to you. If you've been like wanting to collect more Bionicles.
So it's only particular ones. So
Okay.
after the that Lego Bionicle Heroes stream, I like the Paraka. I like the way things look. If you're like, well, Brian, that's not a well sought after, blah blah blah. I don't care. Just the Paraka look cool. So I want some of those, but the prices and lots I've seen on Bricklink, I'm like, no. So I'm gonna share with you if Timmy wants to put this in a full screen here. I'm gonna share you what I got with the Beyond the Brick play money. Okay, so you guys don't just pay me in Chipotle. So thank you. I have managed to get other things with the funds. So I shared this on my stream the other night. So if you saw this already over there, sorry. But I got some sets from Orient Expedition 2002. Classic stuff here. So one of the sets you can kind of see right behind me over here. That's Johnny Thunder with like the it's a boat and a yellow helm on.
Yes, I had that set growing up, still have it.
Yep, exactly. So I also got a bunch of other things too. This one is 7411. It's the tiger in there. So that tiger molded piece there with the and all the figures are mint. All of the pieces are clean. Like I was amazed at how this was packaged and everything.
What was the number on that again? John can pull that up on Brickset for people.
7411. So it's all that same era Orient Expedition. I think 2001, 2002. So it's like adventurers, but like older stuff. And then there's also here, there's a bunch of different lines within that too. So there's the jungle theme, the Mount Everest sort of deal. And then I believe, I don't know what that palace is called, but that palace, a part of that line, is the most expensive of any of those sets that I've seen so far. This is 7416. So, yep. So that's the line one that I'm showing right here. It's got the figures and everything with it. And there's also the boat that is 7416. So you can see all the different, like areas that they go in throughout the instruction manuals and the pictures and everything else. So the boat has a sail with it. And I remember seeing the boat as a kid and I'm like, wow, this is a really good value for what you're getting, even though why would a kid think that way? So whatever. But it has all the pieces and minifigures and stuff. So that was cool.
This boat is so awesome. Yeah, I had so much nostalgia attached to these sets. Grew up playing with these. This boat I love so much because it had such sort of an exotic feel to it. So as a kid growing up, it just really, really appealed to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I saw these for good prices with all the pieces complete and everything. And that's not even the highlight of the whole thing, but I'll get to that in a little while. The next one is similar to the Tiger before. It's 4712. It's a Yeti. So it has the mold in there as well. You can see that. The minifigure, everything. And the seller, the way that they put all of the pieces, all of the colors are together. They're all individually bagged and everything. So that's important to note for anybody out there who is on Bricklink and you're looking for, oh, nope, I messed up. 74.
I don't think that's the right one.
No, but he put 4712.
Oh.
Right? Yeah, so that's wrong. There is a bigger mold in here. It's Orient Expedition. Look up Orient Expedition. It's a Yeti.
I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
If you just look in the theme, you'll see it. So,
you go to Brickset and search by theme, and that's the easiest way. And then you can pull them all up and just show everything.
Yeah, right. Go on a little nostalgia trip here. So I think I had all of these sets as a kid, and then obviously, Dark Ages, sell everything off to buy a laptop, and that's it. But as I was saying before, with Bricklink, a lot of the sellers that are on there, unlike on eBay, they take a lot more care with the pieces because that's where the diehard Lego fans are. So you're going to get, cleaner pieces, more organized pieces, people that know what they're talking about. Whereas on eBay, it's probably someone who found this in their closet or in their attic and they're like, all right, get rid of it. And there may not be everything there. So I was severely impressed with how immaculate these sets were to put together. I was like, whoa, this is awesome. So I got that Yeti one as well. And then the biggest one of that line is the Mount Everest, which is 7412. So it has the white burp pieces, as people say. And there was also a game that was attached with it. So I never played the game, but it was pretty cool to see all of these pieces still here. So, yep, that's the one that was the not Harry Potter set there. So that was pretty cool. And then, yeah, there's the Mount Everest. But that isn't even the highlight. So with the instructions and everything, it came with the instructions. I'm like, okay, cool. And it may be tough to show on screen. Probably not, actually. If you look at these instructions that are right here. Hold on. Oh. These instructions are like mint condition. Like these are perfect condition from like 2002, dude. Like this looks like they were never opened. And Jeff McElwee in the chat has confirmed that these are authentic, not reproduction instructions, okay? These are legitimate as far as Jeff has told me, and I trust Jeff with my life. So this is like, like they've never been opened before. So I don't know if they have been. I have no idea. But I was so impressed with that. And then all the instructions and everything else, they came in like these like folder separators here. So the sale is inside of here. And obviously not every seller does this, but to see, you know, the amount of care that goes into seeing a lot of these sets the way they are here, it's like, it's crazy. It's super cool. And it was mint condition, as I said. And then there's the constable there. Brian, you are the Mount Everest of content.
Oh, there you go. That's the ultimate compliment right there.
You want my head to inflate, Kevin. Come on. You can't keep doing this to me.
No one's ever compared Beyond the Brick content to a mountain.
No, because that's the entire like Earth as it is. I'm just like a mountain. I'm the pimple of the Earth that is Beyond the Brick, you know? So that's how I like to think of it. And then it also came with the puzzle pieces as well, the board game pieces. So it literally has everything.
See, I think to me, like as a kid who was like from a young age super interested in like history and other cultures and reading about that, this theme just like scratched that itch so perfectly with like going around the world to these different places, the exotic locations, and then just like following that. I would read because there were like comics and different stories that went with these sets as well. Yep. And that was just appealed to me so much.
And what really did it was seeing the haunted house, and I'm like, oh, there's all these references to, you know, Ogle in there. And I didn't get into the first line of adventures. That was already long gone when I was a kid. So seeing like, oh, this is from the Alpha Team base, which that is a set that I actually got, which hopefully I'll be able to show next week. I got that for a relatively decent price. So a lot of classic sets like that were paid homage to in the haunted house, I got the originals of. So thank you for allowing me to do work for you guys and take that money and just throw it away on old sets. So thank you.
There you go. I'm happy you could pick up those sets.
Yeah. So I've been building them here and there, but I'm going to build them. I'm probably going to do a live stream myself at some point and be like, oh, I'm just going to actually build. Because I feel like these streams initially had the intent of being building and talking, but they're always just talking. So I need to actually build something.
Oh, we were like, hey, we can get so many interesting people on, so we should probably take advantage of this time and get those interesting people on. John said the Orient Expedition is not in the brick set theme list.
You know what it might be is that it might be classified as adventurers.
Is it like a sub-theme type of thing?
It is. So if you look on Brick Link, it is listed as Orient Expedition, but it's under the adventurers like main theme because it's still Johnny Thunder. So I don't know. I think that's a missed. That's a discrepancy there that should be fixed on Brick Set's end, but you know, whatever.
And as you're talking about these sets, and John's been showing, it occurred to me, yeah, I think I must have had growing up like almost every set from this theme, because I never really realized that until now. But all of these sets bring back so many great memories. So there's more of the adventurers type stuff.
Yep, exactly.
And the Expedition was like a sub theme of that.
Right. So this line people want more recently because this is the only time that Lego came out with Lego elephants. So
yeah,
the sets that contain elephants, big money. All right. Each of those elephants can go for like $80 maybe. It's the only time they've done
Really?
it.
I didn't realize that because I have some of those sets from. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep, exactly. So one of the first sets I got was the knockoff Taj Mahal. It was the Scorpion Palace with the, it looks like the Taj Mahal, the bulb at the top. So, and that has one of the elephants as well as another one. It has like fabric pieces and everything. The most expensive one from the line is the Dragon Fortress, which that used on Bricklink incomplete starts at $150. So
Really?
Yep, and sealed, the only one from Austria is $340. So that's a lot. So this line, I feel like people are, nostalgic for, especially with adventurers in general, Johnny Thunder, and then, the Haunted House helps with that as well. But yeah, I like this era, and I was into Alpha Team a little bit. So Alpha Team with it's like an Ogle base 6776, I believe. That was my first Lego set as a kid. So that was pretty cool. The Ogle Control Center. So been on a trip with that,
I think I had like one or two Alpha Team sets, but that wasn't a theme that we ever really got into, like me and my siblings. So yeah, very, very little from that.
Yeah. I think when I first started out, my family was just like, all right, just get him anything. And then, oh, this looks like a cool boy set, whatever. Yeah. So this is back when they had the custom molded base plates with the custom printing and everything. And that is Ogle in there. So that's one of the main sets you get them in. And it's actually pretty cool. So,
John, if you can go back to the Adventurers Orient Expedition stuff for some of those bigger palace sets that Brian was talking about, because I'm trying to picture some of those and remember what some of them looked like. There were some really impressive ones, though.
If you show the Scorpion Palace first, that one is the Taj Mahal knockoff. So, and these are like the classic ones. These are, there we go. So there's the Scorpion Palace. So that had a retail price of $50 back in the day. Look at that. Are you kidding me? 341 pieces, but it looked like you got so much stuff with it. It was on a big base plate from what I remember from my childhood, which I'm obviously jaded, but it looks pretty expansive, and there's large molded pieces in there. That elephant, like I said, is at least $80 right now. There's
and the minifigures. Right, shields, all of that, so like the turban type of stuff that some of the minifigures had.
Yep, and so that is the light gray elephant. The dark gray elephant is in the smaller set. So, and that ball right there, that is a ball that is, as far as I know, only in that set there. Maybe like the Indiana Jones set that came out years later is similar to that, but it's different. So, it's just a very interesting time for Lego there. And then the other one, the most expensive one, is the Dragon Fortress, which is set number 7419. That one is like a lot of those sets in that era had the big base plate. So it was custom printed, and the base plate on the Dragon Fortress and the Castle of Morcia and a couple other sets like that of that time period all use that same base plate, just different colors, different printing. So after this era, I think Lego stopped doing the custom molded base plates. Yes. So that base plate at the bottom is basically, 4 raised sections with a lane down the middle that you can put something. So like in the castle set, I'm thinking of, it was like a walkway, a cobblestone walkway printed, the whole thing. And this is clearly the side of the temple here. And in this set, you get a dragon with, I believe the head is like chrome gold. So that's another reason why it's so highly sought after.
Because I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, the storyline with a lot of these sets was a chrome piece in each one, right? That he was like tracking down around the world, or it was like chrome armor. I
don't think necessarily, because in the Everest set, it was this helm that is inside of the haunted house or a haunted, attraction. So it's got a skull with like 2 things coming out of it, and there's a helmet. So it's different objects. So literally, if you look at the haunted house, you'll see almost all the things that were sought after in the line here. Actually, so yeah, that is the dingus, right?
Yeah, the yellow thing there, right?
So that thing is in there, and then in the actual Mount Everest set, which the set number is 7417, you can kind of see it in here. It's got those yellow pieces. That thing, I think it's in there. I'm not quite sure, but there's things like that. I just realized that Brian is fawning over this old, yet gives everyone grief on their nostalgic love for Lego themes, like Western. And, you know, that's true. That's true.
It's a double standard. What he can't say.
100%. Yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely some, like, with all of these older Lego themes, there's something to the charm with them and bringing them back and you know, paying homage to them in a proper way. From like everything I've heard about Western, it was never like the highest selling thing of all. Like it was integral to Lego in the beginning, but it wasn't something that could justify keep coming back. But I think having a adventurers, like an overall adventure type theme, Indiana Jones or whatever it is, there's something there, just like there is with Castle. You know, I think there's something to pull from in that capacity too. And yeah, no, I have no problem admitting it's a double standard. I'll admit when I'm wrong. No, I'm not trying to get it twisted. But, you know, I just like calling people old. I'll take any chance I get to call Kevin an old man. That's fine.
Kevin, I don't know if we ever got your feedback on the Western video we recorded at Brick Fair, because I don't think we've chatted with you since then. So I hope you were happy with how that turned out. I thought that was great. I think it was like 40 minutes long of talking about all the Western sets. If people haven't checked that out, Kevin and I go in depth with all the Western sets. John can put a link to that in the chat, but it's good stuff if you haven't seen them.
And it's a shame because like Lone Ranger itself, the movie, whatever, but those sets are really cool. You had the bank and the sheriff's office, the Comanche camp. You had the Silver Mine shootout. I actually got relatively recently. That's a great set. They're all good sets, but it just so happens to be that it was associated with that movie, with that branding, which should have been a positive thing. It didn't really go that way. So, you know, who knows? Like the saloon from what's it there? Bricklink is great.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So there's something there. Like there's with everything, you know, those classic themes, there's something in some capacity to bring back akin to Barracuda Bay. Like beautiful. Toss in a classic set. It's a Lego idea set. Like it's a great idea concept overall. Combine that with something that's retro and, you know, pander a little bit to the nostalgia, but do something new and creative and fun with it. That to me is the perfect, you know, marriage right there if you want to bring something classic back. So who knows what could happen? I had been saying for a long time it would be cool if Lego did like a modular, you know, every year or every other year if it were a Western thing. But then a lot of that, you know, is associated with early America violence. And then is that on brand? Is it blah, 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 blah? So, you know, there's all that. But Fort Legorado is totally in the same vein as the, like the, you know, the treatment it could get like Barracuda Bay. So I hope eventually there's something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. And Ideas, you know, has proven that they can bring back some of that stuff. So you never know what we'll see in the future.
Yep. Absolutely. And they are cool sets. So forgive my ignorance, Kevin. My blissfully self-aware ignorance.
We're all learning in life. It's okay.
Yes, that's all you can hope for, right? As long as you keep learning and you're able to admit when you're wrong and have double standards, it's fine.
Now I want to go back and put together all those old Orient Expedition sets because the pieces, you know, I have just in the collection around. But I did actually a few years ago attempt to put together the big fortress set with the dragon that I put together like probably a quarter of it but I couldn't find the rest of the pieces and I didn't want to spend the time digging through everything. So at some point I need to do that though.
Yeah, and I happen to get these sets for good prices, and I really lucked out here. So, you know, if you want to go on a binge of old stuff and you got it in your collection, go for it, man.
I saw Kevin earlier said I need to bring my Bionicle sets I don't want to Brick Fair and they'll sell easily, which I guess Brick Fair is like the epicenter of Bionicle fans every year. So you just bring anything Bionicle there.
What a magnificent sight it was to walk around the convention center. And it was like people appeared out of the walls where they set up all of these tables all around where there were beautiful mocks on display. You know, people work hundreds and hundreds of hours to make these immaculate displays. And then all these sellers just pop out of the woodwork, set up tables, and everyone is just like clawing at everything. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. and people were digging through the Bionicle stuff like I had never seen anyone at a yard sale before. People were looking for very specific pieces and specific lines of Bionicle. I'm like, how, what are you looking for? And then, sitting there, one of the only things I wanted was the Paraka. And I'm like, all right, well, I could right now. But the issue with the Paraka is that the plastic that is used with them very easily can attach to like dust and grime and gunk. So I don't want somebody's gunk when I'm buying my Paraka.
Right.
So ideally, I can get something relatively clean rather than it being at Brick Fair, Virginia. And it was going for like $6. So I
just pulled out the couple I had next to me. So here, let's see. Here's one.
Rakshi.
And then here's both of these are like 90. I think they're missing like one or two pieces maybe, but basically all there.
There you go. I think a part of the nostalgia with Bionicle is the container they came in as well, the presentation, unlocking the capsule, and that whole thing, which is great. But now it's 2020. That's a lot of plastic, man. Like, I know Lego is plastic, but like those containers that are meant to discard, basically, like that'd be tough. Which is why the newer Bionicle had paper or cardboard boxes. But it's a form factor that I think sold it as well. And I think it's a product of its time. And I've talked about that before, but not to have any Bionicle fans be like, but
that was my thought as I was working on these, that the container was probably my favorite part of the whole pack, the whole thing.
Right. Which is why it's like, all right, if they're not going to be in these giant plastic capsules, then, hopefully that Lego Ideas Bionicle set happens. But isn't that Bionicle set like what I've heard of Bionicle, people like the system Bionicle is in, not the mini, like they came out with minifigure-esque Bionicle sets and people are like, all right, whatever. So why would people want that again? They want actual Bionicle, right? Or am I wrong?
I think you're right. Yeah. So the Ideas one is like almost like a commemorative model, right? I mean, so it's certainly not going to bring back, Bionicle in this form here, based on that project.
Yeah. I've looked very casually at it, and it's obviously impressive, and clearly a lot of people want it. But, I think there's a very, very, very vocal group of people that are liking Bionicle. And I'm not seeing a lot of mainstream, not even like memes or anything. It's not that Bionicle was unpopular, Joseph. It was just, to me, a product of its time, The world has moved on to newer, bigger, and better things, in my opinion, like Mario. So, I think the Mario stuff will do, So that's just me. That's my bias again.
Shout out to Joseph, who says he just subbed to you, Brian. So thank you for that. And remember, all your super chats during the streams go to Brian's lunch fund. So if you get it while we're live, that all helps support Brian.
Subscribing to me is the worst decision you ever made. Congratulations. Thank you.
You can also go sub though to Brian's Twitch, YouTube, wherever he's found.
You can anywhere. MySpace, Flickr. Please, my Flickr page. I need all the traction.
I've been liking your Twitch streams. It's fun to. I got the app now, so I get an alert when you or Nick. You're the two Twitch streamers I follow. No one else is worth following.
Hey, you said it, not me.
I feel bad now though, because does Kevin stream on Twitch?
Yeah, but who cares?
So now I just offended Kevin.
Yeah, no, he streams on Twitch, and so whenever I have somebody that appears frequently, I always give him the heat. So like when I see Beyond the Brick is in the chat, I'm like, all right, here we go. I got to call you out publicly and make a whole thing. So I appreciate you lurking.
It's fun. Yeah, it's been neat just to see what you do over there and see some, like, I don't play a lot of those games, so it's just fun to see people playing that and what you do.
Yeah, and the chat is really the big aspect to it. People love to just, like, for some reason, I have a combination of people that watch for the gameplay, people that want to talk to me, people that want to talk to each other, moms of kids who are in the chat when the kids probably aren't even watching. It's a very weird group of people, but it's great. It's great. Kevin's like, it's fine. We're all fine down here. How are you? Well, yeah, Kevin's on Twitch. He does have some very great emotes, and he fosters a good community. So obviously,
I just don't associate with Kevin with Twitch, I guess, because I've known him so long, and I associate him with other things that he does, and so like Twitch is not something that I guess I would ever think of him as doing. But he is on there, so people can check him out.
Right. Twitch is as I call it, like where all the cool kids are. That is the by far the definitive streaming platform with the most user install base, most hours watched, some of the best content on there. And like people like Nick, you know, they lean fully into it, and there's all sorts of things you can do in the chat, like we talked about when he was on. So it's a whole culture that's fostered with Twitch in general. That's totally separate from YouTube. So it's just different. And for Beyond the Brick, it makes sense you're on YouTube and not on Twitch because so.
I still think it's funny we had that old account. I think it was back in 2014 we made it, and had no idea until we chatted with Nick on the stream, and we were like, I guess we have one.
Yep, there you go. It's important to have that stuff. Golden Light is like, I just watch Brian streams because he's entertaining enough. He's just entertaining enough.
Yeah, just enough. He's like barely reaches my bar for what I consider entertainment.
Right. That's all I hope for. You know, that is all. I just be myself and talk on stream and hope for the best. And if I say something stupid, oops. So, you know. So let's see.
Don Matthews says this conversation is confusing.
You know what's confusing is most of the comments we get here on the live stream. So if you think this is confusing, you should pay attention to the chat because y'all say a lot of crazy stuff. Justin says, hey guys, you know, with all the chaos going on in the world, sometimes when I'm home alone, I like to go into my garden, cover myself with dirt, and pretend I'm a carrot. Point proven right there. Nothing matters.
Hey.
Why is he a carrot? Why is he burying himself in the ground? Does it make you feel better?
The progression of that comment, I was like, where is this going?
That man doesn't look like a carrot.
That could have gone in.
But he's a carrot. Would you have expected that, Don? Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Could have an entire show based around all the ludicrous comments that happen probably on the videos. All right, you gotta keep a keen eye on these kids, Hanlon. All right.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. These live streams, it just gets everybody coming in here, and then you get the Facebook and YouTube audience mixing. You know.
You have people that are carrots. You have people throwing their garbage Lego opinions here about how Western's the best theme ever when Mario exists. Like, come on, we gotta get it in line here, chat. You just gotta keep people together. And obviously the moderators definitely help. There's not any other moderators here besides Kevin because Vision Bricks doesn't care about this, nor does Mike, which is fine. It's fine.
You know, it's okay. Not that it hurts my feelings or anything.
I'm not offended. It's fine. So, and like I always set the rules before I do my live stream. I'm like, all right.
You do that. You always have that slide. See, we're too lazy to make any rules. We're like, whatever.
No,
you know?
Right. Because you just take them out in the night like a sniper, just gone. You know, you don't draw attention to it. But I'm like, all right, kids, if you say something stupid, you're gone. Like, you just got to make it happen. You know, no rules here, no rules at all, man.
I was gonna ask, so your intro is so long on those streams. Like, do you not lose people because it just sits there forever?
Yeah. So what happens with the live streams is on Twitch. So you'll get a notification right at 7.
Right.
Most of the people that tune in a few minutes after when the stream starts. So people usually aren't there waiting immediately. They're, lurking around a little bit and whatever. So, or, takes a couple of minutes, starts at like 7:03, whatever. So ideally in a perfect world, I start at 6:57 and then at 7, I turn it on and, main cam, whatever. So when I have that main, that skyline going, which Mike actually edited, he helped make that motion graphic, which is awesome.
Nice.
So when I have that, that's why I have the music on. So it's like pending, just waiting, chilling out, and then when I do upload it on YouTube, ideally I can actually chop out the beginning part. That way it starts and it's a cohesive video. So it just gives people a few minutes to gather in. It's like when you go to the theater and there's music playing and there's just kind of ambient noise happening. It might start.
Right.
You're drawn to sit there and just, chill out for a few minutes beforehand. If you want to grab a think of popcorn, a little bit of water, relax, lean back, listen to my nonsense, chill, so that sort of vibe. So
I usually get a little too cultured there talking about going to the theater.
Right. I know. I've only been a couple of times. The most recent time before COVID struck was seeing the SpongeBob musical in Boston, which was
okay. Well, there it all went out the door.
but you know, it was very good. It was.
I didn't know there was a SpongeBob musical.
And you know what? Neither did I until Kevin talked about it on one of his streams, and I'm like, man, this is actually fun. It's really good, and it's not exclusively pandering to kids. It like takes what SpongeBob is and makes it into a really good musical that makes sense for human characters playing the roles, and they're really well done. So obviously you can't see it now, but if you there's actually a recording that aired on Nickelodeon of one of the shows. So if you happen to see any clips of it, a lot of the musical numbers are incredible. I was very impressed. So Kevin saw it on Broadway when it was started, and it was only there for a year. And like the Foley artist making all the sound effects and everything is awesome. So cool.
Every year we go to Toy Fair, we make a point of going to something on Broadway, John and I. So we're slowly trying to see some of our favorites on there throughout the years, but that's always super fun.
Yeah, totally.
I'm really pumped for they're finally releasing Hamilton movie on Disney Plus. I think just in a few weeks here, like July 4th or something like that.
Yep.
Which is going to be super cool. So that right there is worth getting Disney Plus just for that.
Yeah, totally. I've heard so much about it for years, but I'll probably end up checking that out just to keep myself cultured, you know.
Yes, obviously. And, learn about, your nation's history, which is always a plus.
Yeah, that's okay. But, I want to be entertained. So Golden Light has been to the theater plenty of times. And yes, the SpongeBob musical exists. I've heard songs and all. Yeah, it's very, very good. And Kevin doesn't recommend musicals lightly. I actually really am not a fan of musicals overall. So seeing that, I was okay with it. Usually in like Disney movies, it's like, I'm just going to break out in a song for no reason. And then it goes. So I'm like, but
I'm the type of person when I can go to one and watch it in person, I always really enjoy it. But it's like outside of that, I just don't like pay too much attention to them. But there are some people who are like, yeah, just listen to the music for all of them nonstop, just get super into them. But I love it when I can actually go to one in person and see it.
I have a lot of theater friends, so I guess I've been exposed to the culture a little bit through them and been more tolerable of it because they've been in shows and I've seen them. But yeah, there's definitely something to that environment, that form factor of delivering that. So they're very expensive though.
That's the biggest problem. It's so cost prohibitive, like going to stuff on Broadway.
Have you happened to see the movie Birdman?
I have not. No, I've heard of it though. I remember when it was very popular.
I'd recommend that if you want, perspective on theater and all that. It's very good. Not family friendly, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah, you got to put that little caveat in there.
For all the moms out there, part of the mom squad, just so you know.
Don't gather the family round for this.
No, do not. Yes, there is a Bricks O'Brien Mom Squad Facebook group in King. And I'm dead serious, Joshua.
Wow.
And you know what? It wasn't my idea. So before you're like, Brian, you're so egotistical that you want to put all the moms in a group for you and your fan. It was their idea. All right. It was their idea. And they talk about a plethora of things that don't involve me. So they are
blinders full of moms that are fans.
Yeah. Hey, that's I'm like amazed. I'll scroll through some of the posts. I'm like, why are you? Okay, whatever. Sure. And I just let them go. So.
What has
arrived?
Look, he's even got his New York shirt on as we're talking about.
Hey, there we go.
You decided to show up while we were still live this time.
You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. What a legend. Hold on. Wait. Nope. You're not good. Nope. Don't even bother. Nope.
Okay, John, kick him out.
To the left. Hit. It's an unmute button.
Now it's fine.
There it is. Hey.
I'm sorry about that. I wasn't sure if you're still online, so I just
listen, hold on. Max limit 2 stories. 2.
Kevin in the chat. He's
Brian, you still remember this Jane episode? Yeah.
Forget that on Twitch. Okay, 2 stories. 2 right here. I'm holding it up. Okay, do you do that differently in Germany?
No, the 3 is different.
Just let me say something, Brian, Josh. It is so good to see you. So I just went to my office because I have to prepare some things for tomorrow, and I thought I'd join you for a few minutes because I'm in a good mood. How long? How many minutes do we have to kill?
75,000 minutes. Keep the stories coming. We're ready.
I'm here. I'm fine. So I mean, what was the topic before I enter?
We're talking about capitalism. Capitalism and the fall of democracy. I can't do it.
That's good. Okay, bye.
We're talking about taxes again.
No. So you're fine. Everything is all right.
As fine as it can be. I guess.
Yeah, as much as we can be. We had Guy Himber. Have you seen his work, Andreas? He was our guest on the stream. Have you ever seen his stuff?
Yeah, I was with you for 2 minutes, and I didn't know him. I'm sorry. So may I miss something? I will check him out.
I think
he's a very interesting guest.
He's done. So he did here. I have it right here. Actually, I'll hold it up for people. So he did this really cool book called Steampunk Lego. So he's like most known from a building perspective for his steampunk work in the community. But then he's also throughout the years done really cool Kickstarter projects, which is most of what he talked about today, and all the different custom stuff. But this has like really cool stuff in it here. I'll just give an example. There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, so lots of this book is I think it's still available. I think you can buy this on Amazon still. Really cool stuff in here. But he's a talented builder, talented artist, coming up with like product ideas for those custom products and everything.
Okay, great. By the way, there's one issue right now, and this is information for John. When something is happening with this notebook, I move it this direction, I have a big problem. So I cannot move the notebook in this direction for one big reason. So hopefully everything is fine.
You have my scale bust of my avatar over there that I commissioned you to do, right, Andres?
There might be something the plan is just look in this direction, everything is safe.
So just focus on the sound of my voice, Andres. Just focus on me.
Brian, let me know because we haven't. I think we've met 2 times. You're a great guy. I know Josh. I mean, Josh is awesome.
He's all right.
And I know he's a very kind person. So, in my opinion, when we think back and think about this Jambrick's live stream, I could have told 10 more stories, and Josh would just sit there and he's a great guy. He's from Germany. Right. I had the feeling if I would have told 2 more stories, Brian, this would have been the end of our friendship. Am I right here? Is this
Andres, you were very, very excited to talk to Jang. And I'm like, you know what? I like to talk and I like to let myself ramble, but like I'm gonna let Andres take this one. I'm gonna sit back with my mojito and just chill right back here. You'll let Andres take it, and that's fine. I had no issue whatsoever. You know what I appreciate about you more than a lot of other people, not to call other people out, Andres, your energy and your passion and your fire. All right. So regardless of, how many story tangents you go on, you bring a presence to the live stream and what you do more than a lot of other people I've seen. So that's why I appreciate your delivery and you being on any of these streams. Don't get it twisted. I love you. All right. I can see you from 5 miles away walking toward me, and I appreciate that. All right. So
I love you too. So
this is beautiful. I'm actually just going to leave and let you two take it here.
There's one thing. I will meet John and Joshua tomorrow for 30 minutes in our big anniversary show. So I will share one story now.
Okay. My plan was 2. Remember, so this is number 1.
This is number 1. This is the true story about the Jang live stream. Okay, I will share the story tonight and not tomorrow. I give away exclusive content because I love Beyond the Brick. I love you, Brian. I think this is the story I have to share right now.
Sure.
The only reason when we think of these 3 hours with Jane, I wasn't talking the whole time. Has been that I had to charge my notebook. And there is one docking station, and when the notebook is connected to the docking station, the mic is gone. So I had to charge the notebook every 20 minutes, a few minutes. So that's why I was gone. You know, you could have seen me, but why isn't he asking anything, not sharing any boring story? So this is the true story. Why didn't kick me John out of the stream? Because I couldn't talk the whole time.
Technology did not allow you to.
No, because I forgot my normal charger, you know, because when I put my notebook here on my docking station, the mic doesn't work. But you're totally right, Brian. For me, it is always great to meet builders and get to know them. And I'm not a nervous, not this guy, oh my God, that's Jambricks, and getting nervous or something. It's just interesting for me. Right. And I was sitting here, and beside this charge thing, I mean, of course, I'm a somehow kind person, and it's the Beyond the Brick stream. I was very happy that you invited me to this very special show. And I was sitting there for maybe 40 minutes and just listening to all the copper stuff. I wasn't interested at all. Not 1 second. I mean, don't get me wrong here. It is so important that Jane is doing well. It is so important that Beyond the Brick is out there. And I know this big issue in the United States. It is some issue in Europe too. Everybody was nervous. But for me, it was like, okay, I know this is the big topic.
I know this is important, but I don't give up. Can we move on?
And this is why I was sitting there, and then finally I tried to begin to talk about the city, you know. And then I realized, and this was something I was kind of professional. I was about to help those young guys. I mean, Brian, you're a young guy. Joshua, I mean, you're young, you know. And I tried to help you because I realized Joshua was mentioning, okay, Jane, if you have to leave, it's totally fine. No. Jane is he'll stay. That's why
he's staying for 5 hours. That's what he's doing.
So this is why I was trying to rock and come up with new topics and questions. So that's why we stream for 7 hours.
This is why I love you so much, Andreas. You know that your your honest German side comes out, and you're just like, no, this is not enjoyable. It's like at the end, our Lego House tour video has it's like 40 minutes long and has like over 1 million views. And the last like 30 seconds of it is when we went and asked you about what you thought of the food in the restaurant at the Lego House. This was bad. This was bad. This was okay. And there's like comments. They're like,
I mean, and please don't get me wrong here. It was a very, very important issue for Jane and for many, many YouTubers out there.
Hold on, wait.
There we go, John. Yeah.
Full opinions. This guy is here. You know, Lego sent him in here to check out the Lego house, and he's like, "This food is trash. This is perfect. I wouldn't have it any other way."
We were John and I were sitting eating, and we had made the whole video about how you order your food, which, like, weirdly enough, we took out, posted it as its own video, and is like 2 million views or something now, which is insane and blows my mind. But anyway, we were sitting there eating, and we were like, "There's Andreas over there," and you were with, I forget who you were with at this one, like this.
Matthias, I think.
But anyway, so you were with someone else, and we were like, let's go just get Andreas's honest, opinion on the spot and see what he says.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way it is, and the restaurant is gone, by the way. So,
and you couldn't remember the name of the meat you had eaten.
I'm sorry, it's Chris. It's not Matthias.
Oh,
it's Chris. Yeah, he's a great guy too. So this was very special because Matthias, I mean, it's always tricky to get somebody to join me because they know me, So I asked a few friends, and I have to work. I'm sorry, I'm out of country. And so I asked Chris, and Chris, I mean, he built a Lego set like last time 30 years ago. Hey, Chris, would you like to join me, and we can go to the opening weekend of the Lego House?
Story 2? Hold on. Is this story 2?
I think like 5 stories in. They're just like,
I think so. But okay, then I will end the story, and then I'll run away. The thing is, so I took Chris, and we were driving to Billund, and there was a border control. So there was a border control. So asked me for 30 minutes why I would like to enter and get to Denmark. And I told them because I would like to visit the Lego house. Okay, yeah, of course you would like to see the Lego house. So it was a nice discussion going on there. Then we arrived, and it was so much fun. But till the point, Chris was standing in front of the Lego shop. And he received a call, and he looked like, oh my goodness, something is happening. And he was talking, and I thought, okay, and I was talking to, I think, one Lego designer, and asked him, okay, Chris, is something wrong? Yeah, I mean, there was a fire in my office. Oh, yeah, everybody's safe, but the building burned down. So it was totally weird, standing there. No, we can go on with filming. I mean, what should I do right now? Everybody's safe, but the whole building burned down.
Right.
So they had to build a new house then, standing in the Lego house. It was kind of a weird situation, but he had fun. So because of me, he wasn't in office that day. So, but everybody was safe. So this is the good thing. But of course, it was a lot of damage, and all the notebooks burned. Everything was gone. But besides that, it was a fun day. Okay, this was not. I'm really glad that I shared the story today and not a few weeks ago, because this was kind of a sad story, a house burned down.
I mean, it's so sad. It's not any less sad now, but
we should mention, you alluded to this, Andreas, but tomorrow night, the 5th anniversary of Zusammengebaut live stream anniversary, John and I will be joining you along with several other people, I believe. Yeah. So what time does that start for people who want to check it out?
Okay, sure. That's not why. Just give me 1 second to mention this. That's not why I'm here.
There's
advertisement, promotion, talking about products. Hey, would you like to buy this cat? Look, no, this is not my deal. But of course,
sell that hat?
This is my Lego hat. This is the way. Normally, I wear this way.
Those, though, right? You don't sell those, though, right?
No. I was just kidding. Nothing is serious here, Josh. You know me.
Everything is serious with me, Andreas.
Okay, before I give you the answer, and this is a very kind question, I will mention one thing, and this is information for your brother, John, who is there in the background somewhere. John, next week, I will upload the best vlog of all time.
Yeah, we've been waiting forever for your New York vlogs from our trip there.
And what do you think, Brian? What is the name of the best vlog of all time?
The Himber Brothers Exploited.
The name of the vlog will be Christmas in Brooklyn. That's the name.
You weren't there during Christmas time?
You weren't there during Christmas, so this is going to be weird.
Find out next week on Canada. But
spending time and space according to his vlog. I love it.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because at this rate, we're going to be in Boston making a vlog with Brian before you get yours out from New York.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So you will meet in Boston?
At some point, we definitely want to. We're doing a food, just like we did with you in Brooklyn, Andreas, with what your vlog is going to be. We're going to be doing that, where we do a food vlog / interesting historical locations, where I tell Brian way too much, more than he wants to know about the American Revolution.
Yeah, I'm constructing the narrative that the Hanlon brothers will visit Boston, and then there's going to be a big, massive meetup of all the Lego people together in the home city, okay? Once things open up, you're more than welcome, Andres. You're more than welcome, man.
Just, Josh, before I answer your question, just 1 second here. Brian, you invited me to Boston?
Yes, you're welcome. You can't stay with me.
You know,
you can't stay in my house, or my office, but you're welcome to come by. And
can we sleep on the floor of your office like we did with Andreas?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Can we sleep on the floor of your office like we did with Andreas? We slept right where he's sitting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, right now, this was the place. But before I forget to answer your lovely questions, because I see we're running kind of out of time here. We have to cut over what is going on. So tomorrow night is a very, very special night. You know, I'm famous in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Only there. Nobody cares in US.
Exactly right.
Beyond the Brick, they are very big in Japan. I'm only well known here in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And tomorrow, they're going to be the 5th anniversary of my website, zusammengebaut.com. So assembled, my German blog.
You're so good.
for 5 years.
That's so small. I mean, we've been going almost 10 years now, so it's really impressive that how quickly you've grown. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. You're very kind, Josh, and you know how much I love you. That's why. By the way, before I tell you the whole story about that, Brian, if you like and you have time, you're more than welcome to be there as well tomorrow. If you have time, you say, "Hey, I'm out of town. I'm in a cinema." You're more than welcome. Just let you know. Not that you think I didn't invite you. I invite you right now because I would like to wait till this special moment to invite you in person. You know, not send a mail like, "Hey, Brian, would you like to join?" No, Brian, you're more than welcome to be there tomorrow at our big party.
It depends on the time. I will see what I can do, but I appreciate the invite, man. Thank you.
Oh, this is something like I give you a call someday.
I asked you what time it starts like 20 minutes ago, and you have yet to tell us.
Yes, of course. So tomorrow is a very special night. We're gonna have a 3-hour live stream like you're doing every week, but I will do this only once. Tomorrow, a very special guest. I have a VIP guest. It's a double VIP guest. There's one very, very special guy.
Ganache bricks. Is it
I don't give you the answer right now. I'm sorry. It's just a tiny hint. It's a spoiler.
Well, I'm there, so we know the answer to that, but who else is going to be there?
Good answer. We'll leave it this way. It's a good one. So the live stream will start at 8 p.m. CST, so Berlin time, and I will put the link in the description or website, so you will find more information there. So I will stream this on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So just for fun, and I'm glad that Brian will be there the whole time. No, just kidding. I can send you mail. And John and Joshua, this is very special because the guys on Beyond the Brick, they don't know if John is real. He will show up tomorrow exclusively on our website and our stream.
He has a contract. Andreas pays him to only show up on his streams and not on Beyond the Brick.
Yeah. So we managed to do
kind of odd, but you know, hey.
Ryan, you know, it's also fun. It's so again,
this cake looks so good. I realize I'm super hungry right now. I needed to eat more before the stream. That cake looks so good to me.
This is the secret, Josh. I got a Dunkin' Donuts egg and cheese sandwich, which actually my Dunkin' Donuts reward loyalty card was hijacked by someone in California. Fun fact for you.
What?
But actually, yeah. So you need to eat beforehand with the coffee and everything. Yeah, it was a whole thing. I got it sorted out. I'm fine. But, you know. Yeah,
this, by the way, a cake of my girlfriend, and this is I uploaded this video this photo, this image, because it's 5 years old. This was I would say 2 weeks after the beginning of the vlog. But if you're hungry, Joshua, this is something we eat tomorrow evening.
Wait, can you bring your own snack? Is it a bring your own snack stream?
Yes, it's all for tomorrow.
Okay,
we're going to eat tomorrow. That's the thing we do tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me tell a few things about it. It's just, hang out with some friends like we do right now, talk about old stories, share some special moments, how we met. This was, by the way, a magical weekend. The first time I met John and Joshua, for example. And I remember the story, Brian, we've met for the first time, I think, at Toy Fair, New York.
Toy Fair a couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah. And I think you showed me the white Millennium Falcon.
Yep, I was in that video, I remember.
In the booth where everybody thought, who's this guy? And it was fun. It was fun.
I just want to say real quick that you look like the perfect New York tourist. You need some shorts on with a map held this way, and you look like you're walking around New York. It's perfect.
I miss New York City. It was such a great experience again this year, where we meet, of course, as well in the Lego store, and it was so much fun to walk around with John and Joshua. And I'll be back as soon as possible after this whole pandemic thing. I will travel again, and would love to see you all. And I have to say something. Now let's end about talk my crap here. It's more important to talk about Beyond the Brick. They're doing an awesome job right now, but just think of the situation. If you're running a YouTube channel and your job is to go out and talk to builders around the world, and then suddenly there is a pandemic and you cannot travel anymore, and there are videos out there every day. It's magical. So it's really a good thing. So congrats.
Thank you.
How
It
you
has
managed
been
the
difficult.
whole situation.
I'm really missing going to shows. I don't know. It's just hitting me hard. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I never realized like how much I enjoyed it until we couldn't do it for the year. But it just, well, it just reminds me of like how blessed I am to be able to do what we've done for so many years of going to all these shows around the world. And I can't wait for it to start back up.
Yeah. So again, it's something I miss too. It is so much fun. This is, by the way, I asked Jane a few times, hey, would you love to see shows? Yeah, because I totally understand his point of view that he thinks, okay, he would like to build all the stuff on his own, but it's so much inspiration. It's not that you kind of copy an idea, but you get so many ideas.
Right.
So yeah, maybe one day he will be there.
He needs to have some security if he goes to a show. All you know, you're going to be leading the fan posse that's going to try to talk to him the entire time. Kind of an entourage.
I mean, that's why I think Josh told him you have to go there on a non-public day or something. I think this is a good thing. But yeah, I mean, I remember last time we had a big show, not my show, but I've been there in Hamburg for 2 years, which is gone, obviously. But there have been some actors and stuff around. It's always funny because you always look twice, you know, like, and then everybody, but then you just
I get those looks in public too. Right.
Yeah, I mean, Brian, I've seen it in the Lego store. It was like screaming. People were screaming.
No, people in the Nintendo store, there were people actually there. They weren't screaming. They were contained because they're respectable people. But, you know, so.
I wasn't there. Oh, yeah, we've met last time in the Nintendo store. Yes, I'm sorry. It wasn't the Lego store.
I saw Brian. I tried not to interrupt Brian too much because there were people, they were like fans you were meeting there. So it was cool to see you chatting with them. So I avoided like getting in your way.
Yes, and you looked like the exact polar opposite of me because you were decked out in all black, and I was here with the cheery sweater on. I'm like, oh hey, what's going on, everybody? So I'm like,
it was fun. No, it was really to make this. This is something. There's a new running gag because in the stream with the Jambricks, I was it's like full circle, and it is the meaning, and I was telling like. I translated it from the way a German would say it, and this is kind of a new running gag on every live stream. There's one guy, remember what you've said. So it's always fun if I try to explain something which is wrong. But now I forgot what. I mean, I'm out of stories anyway. But so it's fine. What was it?
Andres, you need to tell Germany and the rest of the Europeans to stop getting so upset when Americans accidentally mispronounce a word, because we don't get upset at you when you do it.
It's totally fine. I mean, it's just for fun. But yeah, again, it was really kind that you let me be part of this, because you know Jane is such a great builder, and it was so much fun to talk to him about his city and. Yeah. So, and the good thing is I have Brickstar on a stream in a few days. Because
there you go. Shouts out.
Shout out to Brickstar, and it was because he told me, man, you asked the right questions because we're in the same way thing of the city and the smarks, you know.
It's
and
like me and you, or we're like just so opposite, we never think the same. So like you and him can actually get along.
No, this is fun. No, but. As I mentioned, I miss you both. I miss John. I miss United States. Be safe. I mean, always in the news, but be strong. Be safe, and then we're gonna see each other again on a sunny day. So everything will be good, hopefully.
And that's a good greeting or goodbye to end on there, because it's it just turned 4 o'clock here, so I think we've got to wrap it up. Shout out to all our Italian friends who joined us in the stream. We love all of the Italians, you know, great country, lots of fun whenever we get to visit.
It was so good to see you again, and this time I was on time, so I was really on the run to see you guys here on the live stream. So see you everybody tomorrow. Best wishes to John, and see you around next time.
That's right. Thanks everyone for joining in the chat. Thanks to Guy Himber who joined us on the stream. Really great chatting with him. Look for links to everything in the description that we've chatted about. Okay, not everything, because we chatted about a lot of weird different things, so there won't be links to everything. But a lot of things you can find linked to in the description. We'll be back later this week with more streams. Coming up on Thursday, Brian's gaming stream. Any idea what you're playing?
Not a clue.
Not
We'll
a
figure
clue.
it out.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. Then we've got the Ideas live stream will be back on Friday, and then Mike will be back with a news wrap up on Saturday. So more content for you coming throughout the week. So thank you everyone for watching, and we will